Chapter 1161. The Manor's Trial, a Skeleton. As if passing through a layer of bubbles, the scene before his eyes blurred, and greenery instantly occupied his entire vision. Lin Moi found himself already in the garden. That ancient and peculiar building was tens of thousands of kilometers away from him. On a flat ground, separated by tens of thousands of kilometers, it would be impossible to see clearly. Yet, here, it was visible. The existence of the building served to point the way for those who entered, so they wouldn't go the wrong way. Lin Moi did not act rashly, first sensing the changes in himself. Peculiar laws intertwined, suppressing his strength. Not only was his strength suppressed, but there was also something else. The soul is suppressed, and the ability to sense danger is weakened. Before, Tang Zhen said that one would feel a sense of heaviness here, as if bearing a weight of 10,000 catties, making every move very strenuous. Not only will speed be slowed down, but also strength will be greatly reduced. But I don't have this feeling. It seems my guess is correct. Tang Zhen and the others felt that way because their physical bodies were too weak. In addition, the weakening of perception makes it impossible to react in time to the arrival of danger. Lin Moi waved his fist and stretched his body. His true God peak physical body allowed him to thrive here. However, Lin Moi was not careless. There were many people entering the manor, from various races. Some races were born with powerful physical bodies, giving them an advantage over the human race. Lin Moi thought to himself, quickly walking forward. The benefits of a powerful physical body were obvious. He ran forward quickly. The amazing speed brought a strong wind, pressing down all the green grass on the ground. Lin Moi's footsteps were heavy, somewhat unscrupulous. Behind him was the chaotic scattering of broken grass. Lin Moi was like a dragon, running thousands of kilometers in the blink of an eye. According to Tang Zhen's description, the first level is the swamp. The thought had just arisen in his mind when a strange sensation suddenly came from his feet. There was a feeling that danger was approaching. Without thinking, Lin Moi exerted force under his feet, and his body jumped out thousands of meters like a rocket. After landing, he exerted force again and continued to leap out. After several repetitions, the feeling of danger disappeared. Lin Moi thought to himself, not only can the soul foresee danger, but as long as the physical body is strong enough, it can also foresee danger. It seems that my choice to cultivate the physical body and soul together was correct. Otherwise, the physical body might become a weakness, forming the bucket effect. The bucket effect: how much water a bucket can hold depends on the shortest plank. Lin Moi continued to run wildly, without stopping for a moment. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at 2,000 kilometers, the second level of the trial. A roar sounded in the air, and a bolt of lightning directly exploded beside Lin Moi. The green grass instantly turned into a gasoline drum, quickly turning into a sea of fire. With Lin Moi's speed, he could have crossed over before the sea of fire formed. As long as he was fast enough, the sea of fire would not be able to catch up with him. However, at this moment, Lin Moi stopped instead. He stood in place, motionless, allowing the sea of fire to envelop him. The flames quickly swept over his entire body, engulfing him. Lin Moi turned into a fireman. The lightning in the sky disappeared, no new lightning fell. The flames burned fiercely, and the surrounding space was distorted by the high temperature of the flames. Lin Moi stood in the flames, motionless. After the flames continued to burn for a minute, they gradually extinguished. Lin Moi's face showed joy. As expected, it's the same as I guessed. There are no laws in the flames, just pure high temperature. As long as the physical body reaches the 5th rank of true God, one doesn't have to be afraid of the flames burning. Even if it's a physical body of the 3rd rank of true God, at most it will only be burned. When one's strength is suppressed, cultivators entering this place can only rely on their physical bodies. Those with weak bodies will face an extremely high mortality rate unless they possess powerful protective magic items. But powerful protective magic items are not so easy to obtain. The mass-produced goods that can be bought from the trading center are not sufficient. The main issue is that their strength is suppressed to the 5th rank of true God, making it difficult to use magic items of the God King realm. Otherwise, with Tang Zhen's status, how could he not have powerful protective magic items? Lin Mo quietly made his assumption and continued rushing forward. In the blink of an eye, he entered the 3,000-kilometer range. Countless blades of grass rose from the ground, turning into sharp arrows that shot towards Lin Mo. If one's physical body has reached the 5th rank of true God, they can rely on their physical reactions to dodge, and even if they are hit a few times, it won't be a big problem. But if one's physical body is weak, these grass arrows will be deadly. As the grass arrows shot out, Lin Mo noticed a white glowing gate not far from him. The gate was the safe passage that Tang Zhen mentioned. Entering it would grant temporary safety. Calling it a safe passage is actually just a discarded passage. But even wanting to give up still requires undergoing trials. Lin Mo guessed that the reason for having to undergo trials even when giving up was because of the large number of people. If there was only one person, perhaps there would be no need to undergo the trial of giving up. In fact, reaching this point can be considered as having passed 2 stages. The number of people makes a difference. The fewer people, the safer it is. It's very similar to a single-player dungeon in a small world. And these grass arrows are also very similar to the green grassland in the small world. Upon seeing the grass arrows, Lin Mo immediately thought of the green grassland, as the two were too similar. The grass arrows were very fast and densely packed. Lin Mo used his body's instinctive reactions to quickly dodge them. Here, the power of soul perception was completely useless, one could only rely on their physical body. Therefore, in this stage, Tang Zhen and his group lost 4 members. He almost perfectly avoided all the attacks from the grass arrows and quickly left this area. The 3rd stage was passed. There was no information about the following stages, he could only rely on himself. The scene before him changed slightly. The previously pure grassland became impure. Colorful hues appeared among the green, and many flowers grew on the grass. He had seen these flowers outside the manor before. So that area was a garden, not a grassland. Or rather, the first 3,000 kilometers were a pure green grassland, and after 3,000 kilometers, it became a garden. The appearance of flowers brought a different color and vitality to this world. Lin Mo could smell the fragrance of the flowers, which was very enchanting. At the same time, he could also feel a unique aura in the space, the aura of death. It was indeed the aura of death. These flowers did not bring vitality at all, instead, they carried a gloomy death. Lin Mo dealt with the undead legions every day and was extremely familiar with the aura of death, he would never be mistaken. What the eyes saw was completely different from the real world. Continuing forward, the fragrance of the flowers became stronger, and the aura of death also became more intense. It's the fragrance of the flowers obscures the perception of the soul. The soul's perception was suppressed again, even more brutally than before. The soul's ability to sense danger was completely abolished here. To sense danger, one could only rely on their physical body. The difficulty has increased. Lin Mo realized that the difficulty of the trial had increased. The first 3 stages were just beginner trials, now was the real test. Lin Mo was not one to cherish flowers, and he didn't know how many flowers he had trampled to death along the way. Until the 4,000-kilometer mark arrived, and the 4th stage of the trial began. A gust of wind blew, the wind like a knife, capable of cutting skin and flesh. The wind blew on Lin Mo's body, making metallic sounds. The wind swept up the flowers, revealing the ground, on which lay a skeleton. Chapter 1162, Generalizing, it's not that simple. Green flowers, fresh flowers, white bones. The scene seemed very discordant. In the eyes of ordinary people, it would only feel strange. But in Lin Mo's eyes, it felt like this was normal. With such a huge aura of death, it would be abnormal if there were no bones. This skeleton was hidden under the flowers and grass, its entire body crystal clear, even whiter than ordinary bones. It looks like it's been around for some time, it's not a recent skeleton. The skeleton's appearance was not human, but that of some kind of beast, but its head was missing, making it difficult to identify. Apart from the head, the skeleton's outline was still complete. It had a total of 6 limbs. The 2 hind legs were thick and powerful, but somewhat short. The other 4 limbs were slightly thinner, but longer. Lin Mo guessed that it should be a creature that walks on 2 feet and has 4 hands. Why does it look a bit like a demon? Lin Mo's confusion lasted for less than 2 seconds before the skeleton suddenly stood up in the wind. If it were someone else, they would definitely be scared to death. A skeleton that had been dead for so long suddenly moved. But Lin Mo was not moved at all. He dealt with bones every day, so what did this little movement amount to? Just as Lin Mo judged, the skeleton that stood up was indeed standing on 2 legs, with 4 limbs on its upper body. Then, countless flowers flew over, accompanied by the wind, covering the skeleton, as if putting on a suit of armor for the skeleton. Immediately afterward, green grass also flew over, intertwining and interweaving to form 4 long swords, which fell into the skeleton's hands. Flowers as armor, green grass as swords. Apart from not having a head, this skeleton looked no different from a living person. It stood up to 3 meters tall, wearing flower armor, bringing a strong sense of oppression. Even though it had no head, Lin Mo felt like it was staring at him. The soul's perception ability was suppressed, making it impossible to judge the opponent's strength, but Lin Mo's body did not bring a sense of danger. This indicated that the opponent's strength was not great. But this not great was in relation to him. After all, it was the 4th stage of the trial, which could be fatal to others. Let's try it out first. With a thought, a skeleton god warrior appeared beside Lin Mo. The skeleton god warrior was nearly 4 meters tall, much taller than the headless man in front of him. The skeleton god warrior held a sharp giant axe in his hand, looking even more powerful than the opponent. Bone against bone, Lin Mo compared them, and the only thing the skeleton god warrior might be lacking was a suit of armor. If there were armor, the skeleton god warrior would look even more imposing. Accompanied by a gale, the opponent howled as it pounced towards Lin Mo. The distance of several hundred meters was covered in the blink of an eye. Go! Lin Mo issued the order, and the skeleton god warrior swung its axe, fearlessly charging forward. Boom! The 2 sides collided, and the skeleton god warrior neither dodged nor evaded, allowing the opponent's 4 sharp swords to strike its body. The skeleton god warrior's axe also landed on the opponent's body. The skeleton god warrior feared neither death nor pain. Even if it died, it could instantly revive. Lin Mo used the skeleton god warrior to test the opponent's attack power. Unexpectedly, the opponent's attack power was somewhat weak and did not cause any damage to the skeleton god warrior. The minor damage, spread across all the skeletons, was almost negligible. Meanwhile, the skeleton god warrior's axe directly shattered the opponent's flower armor, smashing through its body like a hot knife through butter. Accompanied by a soft hum, the opponent's body exploded, and bones shattered all over the ground in an instant. So weak, Lin Mo was somewhat surprised. The opponent was much weaker than he had imagined. He pondered for a few seconds and roughly understood the reason. The skeleton god warrior's overall combat power is between true god tier 7 and true god tier 8, and its 4 attributes are balanced, its physical strength is powerful, and it has no weaknesses. In other words, the skeleton god warrior's physical strength has reached at least true god tier 6. And the flower monster in front of me has an attack power of about true god tier 4, and its defense is about the same, which is why it was easily killed instantly. The manner suppressed soul power but did not suppress physical strength. As long as physical strength was strong enough, neither the previous tests nor the current tests would be difficult. Having roughly understood the result, Lin Mo was about to leave when he suddenly saw a glimmer of light. The flower monster's corpse disappeared, and the flowers, green grass, and bones all vanished. On the ground, a crystal-like object had appeared out of nowhere. The transparent crystal, only the size of a fingernail, lay where the corpse's heart should have been. Lin Mo picked it up and used detection, but he didn't get any results. After careful examination, this crystal was somewhat similar to the crystal Tang Zhen had obtained, as if it were a leftover scrap from Tang Zhen's crystal. After all, the crystal Tang Zhen obtained was as big as an adult's fist, while the one he obtained was only the size of a fingernail, a vast difference. However, Lin Mo was not disappointed. Instead, he murmured, "Kill monsters, drop equipment." The scene before him made him feel even more familiar, truly like a dungeon in a small world. Dungeons did not exist in the great world, and even secret realms were different from those in small worlds. Lin Mo had always thought that dungeons were a special existence only in small worlds, but now this familiar feeling, similar to that of a dungeon, had reappeared. Let's continue. Lin Mo didn't think too deeply, he knew that further thought would be useless. With his current level, he was far from being able to explore the secrets of the world. Putting away the transparent crystal, Lin Mo continued forward, remaining vigilant. In his opinion, if there was only one flower monster, then the 4th trial would be too simple, much simpler than the previous 3. But after he had walked for hundreds of kilometers, nothing happened, as if the 4th trial had passed so quietly. If those guys who chose to retreat in the 3rd trial knew that the 4th trial was like this, would they regret it? Suddenly, Lin Mo realized that his thinking was wrong, it wasn't like that. He felt that the fourth trial was exceptionally simple because he had instantly killed the flower monster. If it were someone else, with their strength suppressed to true god tier 5 and without strong physical bodies, it would probably be difficult to kill that flower monster. They might even be chased by the flower monster. In that case, the fourth trial wouldn't be so simple. The first 3 trials were passive tests. Passive tests were actually the easiest to pass. As long as one was well prepared, they could always find a way to deal with them. But the fourth trial had become an active test. If one couldn't win, they would be chased, which was the difficult part. Lin Mo chuckled, "It seems my thinking is still not thorough enough, I can't generalize." As he spoke, another gust of wind blew, exactly the same as the gale during the fourth trial. The gale was very strong, almost forming a wind wall, blocking Lin Mo's path. Of course, a mere wind wall couldn't stop Lin Mo. Lin Mo simply exerted a little force and passed through the wind wall. However, the gale continued, forming a huge resistance, slowing his speed considerably. Lin Mo's heart skipped a beat. He realized what the consequences would be if a flower monster was chasing him from behind and a gale was blocking him in front. So the fourth trial wasn't as simple as he thought. The only way to pass the fourth trial was to get rid of the flower monster. Otherwise, with the wind wall blocking the way, there would be no escape. Chapter 1163. Laws are ineffective, strength is king. Easily passing through the wind wall, with no flower monster chasing from behind, Lin Mo didn't need to rush at all. After the calm, Lin Mo began to hurry again, his speed increasing. The manor was very large. Despite so many people entering, they hadn't encountered each other. Lin Mo continued forward, quickly reaching the 5,000-kilometer mark. From the starting point to the manor, it was a total of 10,000 kilometers. He had already covered half the distance. The gale swept in again, stirring up large patches of flowers and grass like a tornado. The flowers and grass were blown away, revealing the ground, which was covered with pale corpses. The headless corpses, with 2 feet and 4 hands, were the same as the ones he had seen before. His gaze swept over them. There were 3 in total. From one before, there were now 3. The corpses suddenly stood up, bursting with vitality. Flowers became armor, and green grass became swords, instantly transforming into 3 flower monsters. The 3 flower monsters were identical in appearance and height. His body still didn't sense any danger, indicating that these 3 guys weren't strong. If the previous trial was difficult, then this time, the danger would be greatly increased. The flower monsters had increased from 1 to 3, and the difficulty had increased several times over. But for Lin Mo, it made no difference. Not to mention 3, even if there were 300 or 30,000, it would be the same. A skeleton god mage emerged in response, waving the skeleton staff in its hand and casting spells. The skeleton god warrior used physical attacks, while the skeleton god mage specialized in law attacks. The skeleton staff flashed with a faint light, triggering the undead law, instantly detonating. Lin Mo struck first. Explosions erupted on the 3 flower monsters, and their flower armor was almost shattered. The huge impact blasted the 3 flower monsters hundreds of meters away simultaneously. Broken petals fluttered in the air, like a rain of petals, colorful and beautiful. Then, the petals swirled back, flying towards the flower monsters. Not dead. As soon as the thought arose in Lin Mo's mind, the flower monsters that had been blasted away swirled back, attacking Lin Mo again. The gaps that had been blasted open on their bodies and the broken armor were quickly repaired by the flowers. At this time, the skeleton god mage's spell was on cooldown and could not attack again. With a thought from Lin Mo, 3 skeleton god mages appeared this time. The 3 skeleton god mages each aimed at a flower monster and cast spells simultaneously. The staves lit up with faint light, and with a roar, the 3 flower monsters were blasted away again. The same spell, when used against 3 opponents simultaneously, has significantly less power compared to using it against just one. More flowers were blasted into the sky. Lin Mo saw that the flower armor was breaking even more severely, but it still couldn't harm the flower monster's main body. They charged back again, and their armor was repaired completely in the blink of an eye. Lin Mo summoned the skeleton marksman, but surprisingly, the skeleton marksman couldn't lock onto their souls. They have no souls. At this moment, the flower monsters were close at hand. Lin Mo dismissed the skeleton god mage and personally blocked their attacks. Bone armor lit up, and spell linkage automatically counterattacked. In the white light, the 3 flower monsters were blasted away again, but they still weren't dead. Lin Moyu clearly saw that the bone spear tore apart the flower armor, and the bone fangs hit the bones, making a clanging sound. The attacks looked fierce, but they didn't cause fatal damage. I understand somewhat now. I won half. Lin Moyu had an answer in his heart. A Death Knight riding a white-flamed warhorse appeared in front of him. The Death Knight activated the charge spell, instantly knocking away a flower monster. The massive impact, carrying terrifying physical attack power, caused the flower monster to shatter abruptly in midair. Immediately afterward, the Death Knight charged toward the other two flower monsters, slashing with his sword, one strike each, cleanly killing them. Their resistance to laws is very strong. It seems that here, the effect of laws will be greatly weakened. If I want to get rid of them, I still have to rely on physical attacks, pure power. Laws are ineffective, power is king. What exactly is the origin of this manner? Is it a pure power cultivator? Pure power cultivators don't rely on any laws, not even physical laws. They constantly improve their own strength and constantly break through the limits. Such people only appeared in legends, and they weren't from the human race. It's just that in today's great world, everything is basically based on the soul. Except for those races that are born with powerful bodies, cultivating the physical body has been almost completely abandoned. The flower monsters died, their corpses disappeared, leaving behind only 3 crystal shards the size of fingernails. Lin Moyu picked them up. When the 3 crystals got close, they suddenly attracted each other and then merged together, turning into a slightly larger crystal. Somewhat interesting. With curiosity, Lin Moyu took out the crystal he had obtained in the previous trial. As expected, it also merged into it, and the 4 crystals became one. The volume was slightly larger, presenting a delicate rhombus shape. Now isn't a good time to study it. Lin Moyu put away the crystal and continued forward. If I'm not mistaken, in the next level, a safe passage should appear again. According to his and Qian Huang's guess, a safe passage would appear every 3 trials. This is to give the test takers the right to choose to withdraw. After walking 100 kilometers, a wind wall appeared again, exactly the same as in the previous trial. He passed through the wind wall and continued forward. In his sight, the manor's simple and unsophisticated buildings seemed a little closer. Lin Moyu knew that it was just an illusion and that nothing had actually changed. Being able to see the buildings is just to point you in a direction. Only when you truly reach your destination can you truly see clearly. The 6,000-kilometer mark arrived as scheduled. It was quiet here. Lin Moyu looked into the distance, and the flowers and plants in front seemed to have become denser and taller. A gust of wind suddenly rose. Lin Moyu silently said, I won half, I won quarter, here it comes. Flowers and plants filled the sky, dancing in the air. Lin Moyu saw corpses on the ground. 10 corpses were scattered on the ground. Not far away, a portal flashing with white light appeared, and the safe passage also appeared together. The information of the trial was already very clear. If you weren't confident in solving these 10 flower monsters, then take advantage of the flower monsters before they revive to enter the safe passage. As long as you weren't an idiot, you could understand what that meant. In the wind, the corpses stood up, flowers became armor, and green grass became sharp swords. Having already understood the strength of the flower monsters and the manor's intention, Lin Moyu didn't waste any more time this time. 10 skeleton god warriors appeared in response. 1-on-1, 10 axe strikes later, the scene suddenly became silent. He picked up the 10 crystals and merged them with the previous crystal. Lin Moyu didn't stop and continued forward. Just like what he had seen before, the grass and flowers gradually grew taller, and the environment changed again. After 3,000 kilometers before, flowers began to appear. Now, after 6,000 kilometers, the grass and flowers have grown taller, and the environment has changed, indicating that the content of the trial will also change. The flowers and plants grew taller and taller, and they became denser and denser. Soon, the height of the flowers and plants exceeded Lin Moyu's height. The density also became extremely alarming. As far as the eye could see, there were only flowers and plants, nothing else to celebrate. When Lin Moyu moved forward, the grass and flowers would automatically fall to both sides, making way for a path, and wouldn't come into contact with Lin Moyu at all. It was as if sound had disappeared, becoming incomparably quiet. These strange flowers and plants seemed to absorb sound. The strange situation made Lin Moyu's sense of vigilance arise spontaneously. His body became tense, and he felt that something was wrong. Suddenly, his right arm tightened violently, and at the same time, a chill arose. A sense of danger belonging only to the physical body suddenly soared. Chapter 1164. The opponent turned out to be a skeleton legion as well. The sense of danger rose from its appearance to its peak in less than 0.1 seconds. It didn't leave Lin Moyu enough time to think, and his body didn't need to think. He instinctively threw a backhand punch. Lin Moyu felt that his fist was like hitting a piece of steel, and a figure flew out. Although he couldn't see it, he could analyze it from the way the flowers and plants made way to both sides. Someone had just wanted to sneak attack him, but he had been repelled one step ahead of time. This was an instinct. Lin Moyu had cultivated this instinct in previous battles. He had once transformed into various professions and learned the main combat styles of each profession. He knew all kinds of weapons and combat routines like the back of his hand. Later, he often took a sword and fought enemies in close combat. Although he had rarely taken action himself in recent years. However, the instinct to fight had been engraved into his body, forming an instinct. Now, facing a sneak attack, he instinctively fought back, repelling the enemy. Lin Moyu didn't chase. He knew that this was also part of the trial. Through the gaps in the flowers and plants, his eyes could still see the direction of the ancient buildings, and he continued forward. It was too quiet here, abnormally quiet, which would make people nervous. The atmosphere became heavy, Lin Moyu's whole body tensed slightly, and the speed under his feet quickly increased. The flowers and plants kept falling to both sides, making way for him. After he passed, the flowers and plants would return to their original state of 050. Even if Lin Moyu deliberately stepped on them, it wouldn't cause any impact. A sense of danger came again from behind. When the sense of danger rose to its peak, Lin Moyu stopped and jumped up lightly, piercing upwards. He jumped more than 10 meters high, jumping out of the range of the flowers and plants. The dangerous feeling followed him like a shadow, and the guy who had sneaked attacked him also jumped up. Lin Moyu looked back and saw a silver skeleton. This silver skeleton was only 1 meter tall, half a body. It had no head and no lower body. It held a dagger flashing with green light in its hand, stabbing towards him. He had seen many skeletons, but this was the first time he had seen such a skeleton. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and a skeleton god warrior appeared behind him. The skeleton god warrior used his body to block the opponent's dagger, and at the same time, an axe struck the opponent's body. In a crisp sound, the half-skeleton without a head or lower body was chopped to pieces on the spot. Lin Mo withdrew the skeleton god warrior and landed back in the grass to continue forward. He couldn't fly here, and he felt that if he jumped up, it might be even more dangerous. The first 3 rounds mainly tested adaptability. The next 3 rounds tested head-on combat ability. Now it seems to be testing practical combat ability. Lin Mo quickly analyzed in his mind. Since it was a test, it must have a purpose and couldn't just be a random, blind test. So from now on, there won't be a test every 1,000 kilometers anymore. Now it's like I've entered a real battlefield, and I have to face danger at any time and anywhere. Lin Mo was certain in his heart, feeling that his guess should be correct. Recalling the various dungeons and secret realms he had experienced, a slight smile appeared on his lips. It's been a while since I've had this interesting feeling. The current situation made Lin Mo excited, his eyes filled with fighting spirit as he sprinted forward. As he continued to advance, ambushes surged from all directions. Using his body's reactions, Lin Mo accurately found the direction of the ambushes time and time again, easily resolving them. When he ran another few hundred kilometers, the frequency of ambushes began to increase exponentially, often with attacks appearing from several directions simultaneously and becoming even more bizarre. With Lin Mo's true god peak physique, he could completely ignore these ambushes. The attack power of the ambushes was not strong. As long as the physical body reached the 6th rank of true god, they could be easily dealt with. Even if Lin Mo did nothing, it would be difficult for the ambushers to hurt him. However, Lin Mo still cooperated with the test, and several skeleton god generals appeared around him, chopping all the ambushers to pieces. What interested Lin Mo was that the ambushers were all half-skeletons. From the initial flower monsters to the current half-skeletons, and Tang Zhen encountering fire-breathing skull heads. The owner of the manor seemed to have a special liking for skeletons. This practical combat test did not have any impact on Lin Mo. He rushed out of the grass very smoothly. The sound of wind rang in his ears again, and the world that had been silent for thousands of kilometers returned to normal. The grass behind him swayed in the wind. The guys who wanted to ambush him in the grass were now shrinking back one by one. He perfectly passed this practical combat test in the grass. At this moment, he was still 500 kilometers away from the ancient building in the manor. Before him was a green grassland, very flat, with no obstructions. It was just like the scene when he first entered this manor. If there weren't buildings to guide the direction, and the grass behind him wasn't taller than a person, Lin Mo would have thought he had gone the wrong way. It was really too similar. It was less than 1,000 kilometers away, and Lin Mo ran again. 1,000 kilometers wouldn't take long. I wonder how the others are doing. According to the difficulty of the test, 99% of the people can't pass. The mortality rate should be very high. I wonder how many will ultimately survive. But Tang Zhen got a fist-sized crystal, while I only got such a small piece. It seems a bit unreasonable. After entering the manor, the building phantom that had remained unchanged finally changed at this moment. They began to gradually enlarge in his vision, indicating that the distance between him and them was getting closer. It looked like he was about to reach his destination. A bright light attracted Lin Mo's attention. It was a glowing portal that appeared directly in front of him. As long as he didn't change direction, he would crash into it. A safe passage. Lin Mo was slightly stunned. It was exactly the same as the safe passage he had seen before. Why is a safe passage appearing here? Lin Mo was a little puzzled and instinctively slowed down, stopping in front of the safe passage entrance. Safe passages appear with tests. Its appearance indicates that there will be another test. The final test. Lin Mo made a judgment based on his experience and guesses. Adaptability, head-on combat ability, practical ability to deal with ambushes. What will the final test be? The difficulty should be very high and very dangerous, otherwise the safe passage wouldn't appear here. This is warning me, if I don't want to die, give up now. Lin Mo muttered to himself and walked forward past the safe passage. He had already come this far, how could he give up now? As he crossed the safe passage disappeared like a bubble. Lin Mo smiled freely, is this not giving me a chance to regret it? The safe passage was the last chance to give up, and also the last chance to safely exit. Since Lin Mo gave up, the safe passage disappeared, depriving him of the right to regret. After the safe passage disappeared, neat footsteps suddenly sounded ahead. Lin Mo's pupils suddenly shrank, and he saw an army. Chapter 1165, A World of Pure Death. An army composed of skeletons. A strong interest rose in Lin Mo's eyes. He didn't expect that besides his own undead legion, he could still see other skeleton armies. The aura of death in the space became extremely dense, and gusts of wind blew, stirring the aura of death. Even if other cultivators had a weak soul perception, they could feel a different aura at this moment. Not to mention Lin Mo. In his eyes, the invisible aura of death had accumulated into clouds, shrouding the sky above the skeleton army. The number of skeletons was not large, it was a 1,000-man team, lined up in a square formation, looking well-trained. Lin Mo judged through the perception of the aura of death that these skeletons were not strong. Even weaker than the previous flower monsters and the ambushers in the grass. Estimating that they were only around the 4th rank of true god in combat power. However, their number was 100 times more, so the danger increased greatly. According to Lin Mo's judgment, with strength suppressed and the power of laws greatly weakened, it would be difficult for ordinary cultivators to deal with this skeleton army. Unless a god lord entered here, there would be a chance to break through. Even if their cultivation was suppressed, god lords generally had a physical body above the 6th rank of true god, or even the peak of true god. Or some races that were good at physical bodies would also have a chance to break through. From the beginning of entering the manor until now, there had been no prompts. The entire manor always seemed very mysterious, and all the rules needed to be explored by oneself. This was different from dungeons, which always gave some hints. Even test-type dungeons would always tell you what to do. But in the manor, nothing was said. The specific rules had to be thought about and explored by oneself. Invisibly, the difficulty was greatly increased. Fortunately, one principle had not changed, that was that one force could overcome 10 skills. As long as the power was sufficient, the rules could be ignored and swept all the way. And the power didn't need to be too strong, enough to sweep the manor was enough. Just like facing the 1,000-man skeleton army in front of him, other races, even those good at physical bodies, as long as their physical body had not reached the 7th rank of true god or above, this level would be very embarrassing. They only had two choices. One was to rush past, not entangle with the skeletons, and rush into the house in the center of the manor. After all, it was not far from the house here. The second is to fight a roundabout battle, looking for opportunities to eliminate these skeletons one by one. But that would waste a lot of time and be quite risky. However, Lin Moyu had a third option, which was to charge straight through. Eliminate all these skeletons, and sweep through. With a thought, a large number of skeleton god warriors appeared around him. Not too many, not too few, exactly 1,000, corresponding 1-to-1 with the skeleton legion in front. Then, the skeleton god warriors swarmed out, leaping high, and plunged into the skeleton legion. Axes slammed down fiercely, bone fragments flying everywhere. Lin Moyu watched, feeling a bit strange, muttering in his heart, fratricide. Skeletons fighting skeletons, it really felt like that. But having experienced so much, Lin Moyu had long become hard-hearted and accustomed to killing, quickly suppressing any unwanted emotions in his heart. In the blink of an eye, the 1,000 skeleton legion had been completely wiped out. The ground was clear of bone fragments, leaving behind a scattering of small crystals. The small crystal fragments were trophies, and Lin Moyu reached out, attracting them all to him. The small crystals automatically merged into one, becoming a large crystal. Including the 4 small crystals Lin Moyu had obtained previously, they joined in. In the end, the size of the crystal was comparable to the one Tang Zhen had obtained. Although the function of the crystal was still unclear, Lin Moyu believed it would definitely be useful. However, the effect wouldn't be too great, considering even Tang Zhen, who gave up halfway, could obtain one could imagine. This was just a consolation prize, or a basic reward, obtainable as long as one could leave the manor alive. Something everyone gets, couldn't be too good. Lin Moyu put away the crystal and continued forward. Soon, the flower garden came to an end, and Lin Moyu saw the ancient manor surrounded by brick and stone. The bricks and stones were simple and unadorned, weathered by time, engraved with the marks of the years. Besides, the bricks and stones were filled with the aura of death, an aura that had accumulated over time. The intense aura of death changed the nature of these bricks and stones. If ordinary people touched them, they would be eroded by the aura of death. Like being cursed, the light case would be a serious illness, the heavy case would be sudden death. Even a transcendent god realm expert would probably be affected if they touched it. Lin Moyu placed his hand on the brick and stone, and said softly, "What a pure aura of death." The aura of death felt on the grassland earlier was several levels lower than the aura of death in front of him. Walking along the wall for a while, he came to the gate of the manor. The gate of the manor had 2 leaves, extremely tall, exceeding 20 meters in height, level with the wall. The material of the gate was special, neither iron nor copper, but it was obviously extremely thick. The gate was closed, but not locked, leaving a tiny gap. Lin Moyu didn't act like a child, peeking through the gap to see the situation inside. He simply pushed hard, and the gate slowly opened with a grating sound. A cloud of dust fell from the gate, indicating that the gate had not been opened for a long time. Lin Moyu took a few steps back, avoiding the dust. Looks like I should be the first to arrive here. Although many people had entered at the time, with their strength, they should not be able to reach here through the grassland. Not because those people were weak, but because the two were in different systems. This place had high requirements for the physical body, while the races in the Great World paid more attention to the soul. Lin Moyu didn't use particularly great force when pushing. The gate only opened 1/10, revealing a gap wide enough for 3 people to enter side by side. Standing outside the gate, he found that he couldn't see the specific situation in the manor. ... 0. Only those buildings, still hanging in the distance, still pointing the direction. Those visible buildings were just projections, not real. Besides pointing the direction, they had no other use. Lin Moyu did not hesitate and walked towards the manor. Since he had already arrived here, he naturally had to go in, otherwise what was the point of coming? As for whether there would be danger in the manor, Lin Moyu did not feel it. On the contrary, the rich aura of death made him feel comfortable. Such pure and rich aura of death had never been felt in either the small world or the great world. Entering the gate, first, a richer aura of death rushed towards him. The aura of death inside the manor increased another level, like a world of death. The vision suddenly changed, and the scenery in front of him suddenly became clear. Flowers were in full bloom, and various flowers and plants were competing for beauty. Clearly in a world with such a rich aura of death, such beautiful flowers could be born, and they looked vibrant. Death and life seemed to have become friends. Lin Moyu's heart trembled, and he suddenly realized something. The scene in front of him was not the law of immortality. Life in death, death in life. The ultimate of pure death, contained tenacious vitality. Lin Moyu had some understanding, and was extremely curious about this manor. Looking up, the ancient castle in the manor was truly displayed in front of him. The phantom was hazy and unclear. The ancient castle was very high, exceeding 100 meters, extremely ancient, made of unknown materials, exuding a heavy aura. Lin Moyu glanced around, did not find anything abnormal, and quickly walked inside. Chapter 1166 Beast Skin, Amazing Information. The manor was silent, and Lin Moyu walked alone in the silent manor. Until he came to the castle, nothing happened. Standing in front of the castle, he looked up, feeling the aura of the castle. Although it would not speak, many clues could be seen from it. This castle was not very similar to the ones in the human race of the Great World. The top was an umbrella-shaped cover, extending in all directions, almost covering the entire castle. It looked a bit like the ancient Chinese style of the previous life, a Chinese-style castle. Below it, the walls were also made of special materials interwoven with each other. Some places were damaged, but the overall structure could still be seen. Lin Moyu looked as hard as he could, and those damaged places did not look like the traces left by the years, but more like the traces left by battle. Many of the materials supporting the structure were broken, and if the battle was more intense, this castle would probably be completely broken down. Looking further down, the surface of the castle also had many traces of battle. Among them, there was a sword mark that left a deep mark on the castle, almost piercing the outer wall. The gate was also split open from the middle by this sword. Lin Moyu tried his best and punched the castle. Pain came from the fist, and the castle remained motionless. The physical strength of the peak true god could not shake the castle. Lin Moyu originally wanted to directly summon the Skeleton King to see if he could leave a trace on the castle, but he ultimately did not. Actually, I shouldn't have thrown that punch just now. Through the shattered gate, Lin Mo entered the ancient castle. Beyond the gate was a corridor about 100 meters long, quite spacious, about 10 meters wide, and over 20 meters high, with a triangular ceiling supported by crossbeams. Some of the crossbeams were already damaged, and there were signs of battle here as well, with sword marks and axe imprints all over the walls. However, these were much shallower, indicating that the people who stormed into the castle were not as strong as those fighting outside. The ones fighting outside the castle were generals, while those rushing in were soldiers. Lin Mo guessed in his heart, walking along the dark passage. The aura of death here became even more intense, making it somewhat eerie and terrifying, but for Lin Mo, this kind of aura was quite comfortable. A whistling sound came to his ears, and a flash of fire lit up his eyes as 3 skull heads appeared in his sight. The skull heads were burning with raging flames, emitting sharp cries as they rushed towards Lin Mo in a triangular formation. Lin Mo remembered what Tang Zhen had said about entering a secret chamber after entering the safe passage, where he encountered flame skull heads. Lin Mo couldn't be sure whether the flame skull heads in front of him were the same as those encountered by Tang Zhen's team. But he didn't take the flame skull heads in front of him seriously. A flash of white light appeared beside him, and the skeleton god general emerged, swinging his axe at the flame skull heads. Here, Lin Mo had already gained experience. Laws didn't work much. Physical attacks were more effective than anything else. As long as the power was great enough, nothing was insurmountable. Under the axe of the skeleton god general, the 3 flame skull heads were quickly chopped to pieces. The firelight scattered all over the ground, still burning incessantly even as fragments. It looked like they could burn for a long time. Lin Mo didn't sense any aura of law from the flames, only the high temperature, enough to burn a true god to death. Continuing forward, he soon reached the end of the passage, with new paths on both the left and right sides. At the end of the passage stood an antique table, which must have held something for a long time, leaving a deep imprint. On the wall hung half a painting. It should have been a small half, with the majority destroyed. Even the remaining small half was severely damaged, barely recognizable, but it seemed to depict a figure. The table with the object and the painting on the wall gave Lin Mo a strange feeling. It was as if something was being worshipped or offered. After watching for a while and not seeing anything, he stopped paying attention. His gaze turned to both sides. He could go either left or right, and he had to make a choice. At this moment, Lin Mo's pupils contracted slightly as he saw a skeleton on the ground about 10 meters to his left. The skeleton was leaning against the wall, having died who knows how many years ago. Having seen many corpses since entering the manor, he should have been used to it. But this corpse was different. First, it was very old, and second, it was humanoid. The limbs were intact, and apart from the absence of a head, it was no different from a human corpse. This discovery made Lin Mo suspicious. Is this a person from the castle, or an invader? It was impossible to tell from the corpse alone. But Lin Mo had a way. A ball of fire lit up as Lin Mo flicked out undying flames. Stellar level spell, Resurrection of the Dead. The flames landed on the corpse, but the scene of flesh and blood regenerating did not appear. Instead, the corpse completely turned to ashes in the flames. What is going on? Lin Mo was stunned. Resurrection of the Dead had actually failed. This was the first time he had encountered such a thing, and he was a bit puzzled for a moment. Is it because of the chaos of the laws? Or is there another reason? The corpse turned to ash, and the undying flames gradually extinguished. Lin Mo had sharp eyes and saw something in the ashes. With a wave of his hand, a gust of wind blew away the ashes, revealing what was beneath. It was a piece of animal skin, originally pressed under the skeleton, and he only saw it now after it had been burned to ash. Being able to withstand countless years without decay, this animal skin was extraordinary. Although the animal skin was not damaged, the writing on it seemed to be very faint, and some had even completely disappeared. When Lin Mo saw the words on it, his pupils contracted again. Ancient Chinesia. He recognized the words, just like when he first obtained the origin rune. They were all in ancient Chinese. Why would ancient Chinese appear here? He didn't have the mind to delve into this question and began to try to decipher the words on it. The words on it were fragmented, discontinuous, and chaotic. But Lin Mo had a heart-palpitating feeling. We finally broke in. So many skeletons, too manya. He is too strong. The marshal has fallen in battle. Even the dominator has the disadvantage. I saw the dominator sacrificing a great world rune. This is impossible. How can he be so strong? There was not much information to discern, and Lin Mo barely pieced together this information. Even he didn't know if the order of the language was correct. Sometimes, reversing the order of two words would change the meaning. However, from these surviving 4.1 words, Lin Mo roughly pieced together some things. The owner of the animal skin was an invader, and they had an unimaginable battle with the owner of the manor. The owner of the manor could manipulate skeletons and was incredibly powerful. Their marshal died in battle, and even the more powerful dominator was at a disadvantage. But in the end, they seemed to have won. At least now, the owner of the manor had disappeared, and the manor was in a state of abandonment. A dominator, is dominator a title of position, a title of realm, or a reference to someone? A great world rune. Is it the great world rune? What happened to the great world rune? No. Lin Mo's eyes suddenly burst with bright light, followed by an unbelievable expression. No matter what happened to the great world rune, normally one shouldn't even be able to see the great world rune. According to what's written above, was the great world rune revealed? How is this possible? Chapter 1167. The manor owner's peculiar preferences. The great world rune is elusive and cannot be directly viewed. This is common knowledge. The great world rune never reveals itself to people. It can only be glimpsed for half a second during the sublimation of a spell to the stellar level. But that's just a fleeting glance, and weaker individuals basically can't even see it. At most, you can see some light, which is already the limit, and more often you can't see anything at all. However, according to the records on the animal skin, the great world rune was revealed. This is beyond common sense. Moreover, it was summoned by someone. It is absolutely impossible for the great world rune to be summoned. However, Lin Moyu thought again that he had seen the great world rune before. The great world rune was covered in scars and was on the verge of collapse. His heart trembled violently. Could it be that the great world rune is here, crippled? Lin Moyu was also startled by his own thoughts. He was extremely curious about what happened back then. The era was too long ago, so long that even undead rebirth could not be used. If it weren't for some special reasons, the years experienced would have been unimaginable. Lin Moyu put away the animal skin and continued forward. The material of the animal skin is very special. After so many years, it is still well preserved. Obviously, the animal skin itself is also an extremely precious treasure. Since the bones were found on the left side, Lin Moyu chose the road on the left side. Anyway, choosing left or right makes no difference to him. If it is really like the architectural structure in his previous life's memory, the current corridor should be a U-shape, and the left and right sides will eventually converge, so it's the same no matter which side you take. Gradually going deeper, corpses appeared on the ground again, and not just one, but 5. Their postures were not all leaning against the wall, some died in the middle of the road. Without exception, all their heads were gone. The bones were intact, without any scars. As for whether they died because their heads were chopped off, or their heads were chopped off after they died, it's hard to say. In Lin Moyu's eyes, every bone here was more powerful than a god lord before his death. Even the corpse of a god lord could not be preserved for so many years. At that level, even if their heads were chopped off, they would not die. The soul can survive independently, and can even achieve flesh and blood rebirth. From this, Lin Moyu guessed that these people had their heads chopped off after they died. As for where the chopped heads went, the answer was soon revealed. Reaching the end, a corner appeared again, turning to the right, which coincided with his judgment. Just after passing the corner, Lin Moyu's body suddenly tightened, his muscles tensed, and he felt the danger coming. Left, right, behind, and above, skulls appeared at the same time. These skulls spewed water arrows from their mouths. The water arrows are transparent, and look no different from ordinary water, but the essence is completely different. Lin Moyu dodged several water arrows. The water arrows fell on the ground, emitting light smoke and making a sizzling sound. The light smoke turned into mist, obscuring the line of sight. When the soul perception is suppressed, once the line of sight is affected, it means extreme danger. Tang Zhen said that his subordinates were hit by the water arrows and were corroded into bones on the spot. Lin Moyu's body glowed with white light, and the bone armor sparkled, blocking the water arrows. But only half a second later, the bone armor exploded. Half a second was enough. Lin Moyu leapt out in one step, directly jumping over a dozen meters, and instantly escaped the water mist. The water arrows did not continue to pursue. Looking back, the skulls on the wall had disappeared, and the water vapor was also rapidly fading. Lin Moyu probably understood where the previous bones came from. The water arrows just now had amazing corrosiveness, corroding the flesh and leaving only bones. And the heads of those people are all in the wall, becoming water arrow launchers. Feeling a little hairy in his heart, the manor owner's hobby seems a little unexpected. Ask yourself, although I also control the undead legion, and I have been on the battlefield for a long time, killing people without blinking an eye. But he has not used other people's heads as launchers. This is not just a matter of hobby, it is even a bit perverted. The first danger encountered after entering the castle is actually nothing. As long as you react a little faster, you can avoid it. If this is the only thing, how could those strong men have died here back then? Lin Moyu guessed that it might be because the Great War back then damaged the defensive facilities in the castle. What he sees now is just some remnants of the past. But even some remnants, coupled with the suppressing power here, are enough to give god lords a headache. Enough to make god kings fall. He first encountered the flame skull heads, and then the water-spraying skull heads, which was exactly the same as Tang Zhen's encounter, even the order did not change. The only difference is that Tang Zhen met them in the secret room, while he met them in the castle. Continuing forward, several more corpses appeared on the ground. These corpses also had no heads, but they were somewhat different from before. On these corpses, there were many scratches, as if they were left by being scratched by some kind of sharp weapon. The owner of the corpse was extremely powerful before his death, and the corpse was also extremely hard. The strength of the attack at that time can be imagined to leave marks on it. Lin Moyu touched one of the corpses, wanting to examine the scratches carefully. Crash! The corpse suddenly collapsed and could not maintain its complete structure, scattered all over the ground. The time is too long. If there is no external interference, the corpse can maintain its original state. A little external influence will immediately cause the corpse to collapse. Lin Moyu sighed softly, no longer touched them, and continued to walk forward. Soon, he came to the end of the passage again, and a right bend appeared again in his sight. Through the bend, you can see the other side of the passage, which is also a bend, connecting to another road. And in the middle of the passage, there is also a gap. As expected, it is U-shaped, the same as the structure of a wealthy family in my previous life's memory. Garden, castle, and after 973 there is also a small forest. The artistic conception is really good. Lin Moyu said softly. He stepped into the corner, and then his body suddenly accelerated and rushed forward. Behind him was the howling wind, and the wind turned into countless sharp blades sweeping over. Although Lin Moyu was not afraid, there was no need to deal with these sharp blades. Lin Moyu increased his speed to the limit and ran wildly in the passage. The passage was not long, only a few hundred meters. He instantly ran to the gap in the center of the passage and ran in without hesitation. The wind brushed his back and roared through the passage. Lin Moyu chuckled. This level is not difficult either. The 3 levels are exactly the same as what Tang Zhen encountered, and then he has to explore on his own. After passing through the U-shaped corridor, he truly entered the interior of the fortress. Faint light came from ahead, and Lin Moyu saw many doors on the left and right sides. The doors were tightly closed, and he did not check them. Not to mention whether he has the ability to open these doors. If he opens it and there is any danger inside that he cannot handle, what is the difference between that and courting death? The less trouble, the better. In the blink of an eye, he was about to reach the end. Lin Moyu saw that outside the passage was a courtyard. And on the left side of the end, there was a door that was open. The door should be said to have been split open, and it had been divided into 2 and fell to the ground. You can see the situation in the room from the outside. Study, Chapter 1168. New Mysteries, Sleeping Coffin. Thick, ancient books were neatly stacked in the bookcase. They looked very old. In today's human world, books have long faded from the stage of history. Most information is spread in a more intuitive way. It is now difficult to find a few books. People who come out of the small world may not be unfamiliar with books, but many people born in the big world have never seen books at all. The structure of the study is very simple, with bookshelves on 3 sides, about 2 meters high, filled with books. In the center of the study is a large desk, also with a few books, as well as pens and paper. Lin Moyu entered the study, which was covered with a thick layer of dust, indicating that no one had entered for a long time. His arrival left a pair of footprints on the ground. With his arrival, the outside air was brought in, and a breeze blew into the study. The balance in the room was broken, and the bookshelf in front of him suddenly collapsed, turning into dust. Then a chain reaction occurred, and the bookshelves in the study, along with the books in the shelves, turned into dust. The time was too long, so long that these materials had long rotted. It's just that they still looked intact because they were always in a static state. But once the balance was broken, they completely turned into dust of time and ceased to exist. Lin Moyu was a little helpless. He could see that although these books were preserved with some special methods, and the materials were also excellent, not ordinary wood and paper. But it still couldn't resist the years. Dust flew in the study, scattered all over, and finally what was lost in the years was the table. But Lin Moyu saw that a piece of animal skin fell from the table and did not turn into dust. He was quick-eyed and quick-handed, and with a wave of his hand, he sucked the animal skin over. Like the piece of animal skin he had obtained before, this kind of peculiar animal skin can withstand the erosion of time and remain intact. There were words on it, also in ancient Chinese, which Lin Moyu could understand. The same problem was that the time was too long. Although the animal skin could withstand the erosion of time, the words on the animal skin could not. The ink had dried up, and not much could still be recognized. They still attacked, while the master was away. Where did the master go? He should also be fighting with their supreme powerhouse. I don't know whether we will win or lose. There is not much I can do, guard. If you want to kill me, you will pay the price. The information was intermittent. After reading it, Lin Moyu's eyes showed a thoughtful look. The same animal skin, but records from different angles. The first piece of animal skin was recorded by the people who invaded here. The second piece of animal skin was recorded by the owner of the manor. It was very strange that the invaders and the owner of the manor actually possessed the same kind of animal skin. Moreover, the owner of this manor, as said by the invaders, was very powerful, killing their Yuan master, suppressing their dominator, and even summoning the runes of the great world. And the owner of the manor, in his records, actually had an even more powerful master. The owner of the manor was already so powerful, so to what extent would his master be strong? According to what is said in the animal skin, his master is fighting with their supreme powerhouse. What is the identity of the master, and who is their supreme powerhouse? How strong should the supreme powerhouse be? Compared with the old man riding the green ox, who is stronger and who is weaker? Lin Moyu unconsciously thought of the old man riding the green ox who waved his hand and destroyed countless powerhouses. He only felt that this world was full of mystery. When he was in the small world, he solved one doubt after another, thinking that he had seen the whole world clearly and was no longer a frog in a well. When he arrived in the big world, his understanding of the big world gradually deepened. He probably already knew what the Vermilion Bird Star region was like, and he thought that the other 3 star regions would not be too different. It's just that the God City is still mysterious, and so is the human race God Road. Unexpectedly, now new mysteries have appeared, which seem even more terrifying. After pondering for a moment, Lin Moyu sighed helplessly. In the final analysis, it's still because my strength is not enough. Don't worry, I will always figure it out in the future. Leaving the study and leaving from the corridor, he welcomed the light. Light sprinkled from the top, and here was a small flower garden, with a stone table in the center of the flower garden. There was an artificial pond on the side, and next to the pond was a vibrant tree. The tree's branches and leaves were lush, blocking the light shining from the sky, refracting mottled light and shadows. The whole picture looked very harmonious and beautiful. But if you look closely, you will find that this is not the case at all. The edges of the artificial pond were not paved with stones, but with skeletons. Around the flower garden, white bones were also used as embellishments. Under the stone table, skeletons were used for fixation. Even the benches next to the stone table were made of refined white bones. Accompanied by a strong aura of death, the vibrant tree, the blooming flowers, and the forest of white bones made the picture look strange. There was a tea set on the stone table, and there were also books next to the tea set. Lin Moyu immediately understood that this was where the owner of the manor took a nap and read books. He took a book from the study not far away, and drank tea and read books here, which was very leisurely. Lin Moyu walked into the flower garden, and as he arrived, he brought a wind. The books on the stone table suddenly turned into dust, but the tea set and the stone table did not. The stone table was refined with the same materials as the fortress, and could also withstand the years. The tea set also seemed unusual, and should be some kind of treasure. Otherwise, it should have turned into dust long ago under the years. Lin Moyu walked over and was about to pick up the tea set when his body suddenly tensed up. Whoosh! Several black shadows whipped down from the air. Lin Moyu quickly retreated, avoiding the black shadows. The black shadows whipped into the air, changed their angles, and whipped again. Lin Moyu saw clearly in the retreat that the black shadows were the branches of this big tree. Could it be that it has become a demon? Or has it always been like this? Lin Moyu's heart moved slightly, and 10 skeleton god warriors appeared and rushed forward fiercely. Several of the skeleton god warriors leapt high, grabbed their axes, and chopped off the branches that were whipping over. The rest pounced on the big tree. At the moment when the skeleton god warriors appeared, the big tree trembled violently, and the branches retracted at an astonishing speed, causing the skeleton god warriors to chop into the air. Jiao Jiao is good. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. What's going on? It hasn't started fighting yet. Why doesn't this tree fight anymore? Was it frightened, or did it know that it was not an opponent? Or rather, Lin Moyu looked suspiciously at the skeleton god warriors, who seemed to be somewhat different from the skeletons in the manor. However, this big tree obviously had its own will. It did not know how many years it had existed, and perhaps he could ask it. The key is to see if he can communicate with the demon. The branches slowly swayed, and the tree trunk leaned forward slightly, as if it was saluting Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu felt even stranger. Do you recognize me? The tree shook its branches, indicating that it did not recognize him. It couldn't speak, nor could it transmit thoughts through the soul. Although it had consciousness, it couldn't communicate with the outside world. However, the great tree had its own ways. It stretched out its branches, entwined the stone table, and then pulled forcefully. The stone table responded by lifting off the ground, revealing a hole. Inside the hole was a black box. Chapter 1169, Account Book, Devout Servant. The great tree swayed, as if telling Lin Moyu to take out the box. Lin Moyu took out the box, and the great tree put the stone table back in place. Without the box, the stone table seemed a bit shorter. Lin Moyu placed the box on the stone table. The box's material was very special. The mere fact that it could withstand the passage of time without damage was enough to show its extraordinary nature. The great tree slowly swayed its branches, making rustling sounds, as if saying to Lin Mo Yu, "Open it, open it." Lin Mo Yu didn't sense any malice from the great tree, nor did he sense any danger from the box. When unable to make an accurate judgment, one can only choose to try. Moreover, Lin Mo Yu had confidence in his own strength, especially his ability to protect himself. The box was slowly opened, and Lin Mo Yu's pupils suddenly contracted. Inside the box, a rectangular, extremely exquisite small stone coffin lay inside. A coffin of slumber. Lin Mo Yu was very surprised that the box contained a coffin of slumber. He wouldn't be mistaken, because he had personally refined a coffin of slumber. Whether in appearance or aura, it was undoubtedly a coffin of slumber. Taking out the coffin of slumber, he discovered that it had already been activated, indicating that a living being was slumbering inside. He didn't check it. Checking the living being inside the coffin of slumber was troublesome, requiring refining it first, and refining couldn't be completed all at once. Not in a hurry, he put the coffin of slumber aside. There was something else in the box. A manual made of beast hide. It was the kind of special beast hide that could withstand the corrosion of time. Before, it was just a piece, but unexpectedly, it had been made into a manual here. Lin Mo Yu could imagine that the beast hide must be very precious. The piece of beast hide on the desk in the study should have been written in a hurry. And the information in the beast hide manual in front of him should be more complete. The manual wasn't large, only slightly larger than a palm, like a children's book. The handwriting inside was neat, clear, and not messy. Obviously, the writer's emotions were stable at the time, unlike the beast hide in the study, where the handwriting was slightly messy. Moreover, the text in the manual didn't seem to be corroded by the years, it was very clear, as if it had just been written recently. Lin Mo Yu guessed that it should be related to the box outside. Lin Mo Yu carefully read the contents of the manual. The contents of the manual were less than he had imagined. "A great master, as your most loyal servant, I will obey all your commands. When you are at war, I will guard your territory well. Anyone who invades will be killed without exception. Your greatness is an existence that no one can imagine. The first page didn't contain any substantive content, only flattery. Lin Mo Yu frowned as he read. This servant was too devout to his master. It couldn't be described as just respect, his master was his everything. To what extent of devotion could one write such words? And still be such a powerful existence? Lin Mo Yu deeply felt the terror of that mysterious master, and then turned to the second page. A Undying Era 998, your glory shone upon Turu. A Undying Era 13255, your glory shone upon the blue sea. A Undying Era 28553, your glory shone upon heaven. One time point after another, one sentence after another. Several pages were like this. This time point couldn't be examined because of the incomparable comparison. It was impossible to know which time the recorded Undying Era represented. After that should be place names. Glory shone upon Turu, which should mean invading a place called Turu. After that, every 10,000 years, they would invade a place again. Lin Mo Yu counted. There were a full 4 pages, all recording this. A full 18 places, taking a total of 300,000 years. It was just unknown whether their year was the same length as a year in his world. Is this an account book? Lin Mo Yu was a little strange. The manual was like an account book. Besides the devout flattery on the first page, there was nothing else. He originally thought it was a diary and might get some other information, but now he was slightly disappointed. At this time, Lin Mo Yu saw that there was another piece of beast hide at the very bottom of the box. This piece of beast hide was very new, much newer than the manual, and the handwriting on it was the same. The handwriting became messy again, but not the kind of messy handwriting caused by panic, but rather weakness. That's right, that was the feeling. Lin Mo Yu felt weakness from the handwriting. He's injured. Lin Mo Yu guessed the situation at the time. Great master, I have guarded the manor. Although this manor is insignificant in your eyes, it cannot be violated by others. They used a special method. The people who died could not be used by me. The enemies were strong, but I still won. I killed their marshal, killed their master, and killed all of them. Your castle has been damaged, some of the game rooms inside have been disrupted, and the garden outside seems to have been invaded by foreign forces and has become somewhat different. But it doesn't matter, they are already dead, I have killed them all. I am injured. Following your orders, I will enter the coffin of slumber, waiting for your return to awaken me again. Great master, your most devout servant, awaits your summons again. Towards the end, the handwriting was very faint, as if there was no strength to continue writing. Lin Moyu knew that he had reached the final moment. If he didn't enter the coffin of slumber, he would probably die directly. Time would not flow in the coffin of slumber. Whatever he was like when he went in, he would be the same when he came out. He hopes that his master can save him. He has great confidence in his master. Unfortunately, so much time has passed, and his master has not appeared. It seems his master also encountered misfortune. It's really dangerous. Even reaching that level can't guarantee absolute safety. Lin Moyu felt alert in his heart and constantly warned himself that he must never be careless. This world was far more dangerous than he imagined. One wrong step, and the consequence might be falling. Lin Moyu put away the beast hide. Now everything finally matched up. The beast hide in the study was written before the war broke out and was somewhat rushed. The beast hide in his hand was written after the war ended. And the beast hide manual was actually an account book. Besides the flattering words on the first page, the rest was bookkeeping, which could also be regarded as another kind of diary, but it didn't have much use for Lin Moyu. In Lin Moyu's understanding, this might be a war between races, a very cruel and fierce war. He put all the beast hides into the box and then put the box away. The coffin of eternal slumber was stored separately. But after thinking about it, he took out the last piece of animal hide and placed it with the coffin of eternal slumber. This animal hide could be considered the will of the manor's administrator and should be kept with the coffin of eternal slumber. Lin Moyu scanned the flower garden and found the path to continue forward. I didn't expect this place to be that master's playground. Perhaps for a being of that level, the dangers here are truly insignificant. After the Great War, some changes occurred here, making it different, unrecognizable, and ultimately transforming it into what it is now. Lin Moyu pondered as he left the flower garden and entered the heart of the ancient castle. After he left, the large tree in the flower garden began to tremble violently, and the pool beside it began to ripple. Imperceptible vibrations rapidly spread throughout the entire ancient castle. Chapter 1170. The manor owner's love for mazes. The tree seemed to issue a call, and the ancient castle instantly fell silent. Lin Moyu walked through it, feeling a bit strange. The ancient castle was already very quiet, but now, it had become even more silent. Since he left the flower garden, he hadn't encountered any more dangers. That's a bit odd. Lin Moyu advanced along the corridor of the ancient castle, finally arriving at the main hall. The hall was over 200 meters long and over 100 meters high, making it very spacious. It wasn't the kind of spaciousness created by formations, but real space. There were no signs of battle here, indicating that the Great War hadn't affected this place. The hall was very quiet, and a beautiful throne was placed on the main seat at the front. Skull throne. The moment he saw the throne, Lin Moyu almost instinctively spoke the words. Upon closer inspection, it wasn't the skull throne, but the two were too similar. Lin Moyu guessed that the throne should be the seat of the manor owner. Just as he was about to go over and take a closer look, a sound came from behind, and footsteps suddenly rang out. In addition to the footsteps, there were also some chaotic voices. Someone's coming. Lin Moyu turned his head to look, and some figures appeared outside the hall. The first to rush in was a demon, covered in thorns, extremely ugly. His eyes were fierce as he scanned Lin Moyu and said fiercely, "Human." Lin Moyu said softly, "Is there a problem?" The demon clenched his fist, his chest heaving, "Be careful." He didn't attack, as the various races tacitly maintained the unspoken rules, and wouldn't attack without a conflict of interest. Otherwise, they might end up working for someone else, and the various races were unwilling to do such unprofitable things. Lin Moyu sized him up, covered in scales, thick-skinned, and clearly possessing a strong physical body. His physical body is indeed good, but why can he appear here directly, and there's more than one? Others appeared outside the hall. This time, it was an elderly human, dressed in a robe, hale and hearty, exuding the unique temperament of a soldier. Lin Moyu could feel the vast power contained within his body, a strong physical strength. Coupled with his temperament, Lin Moyu immediately said, "Are you Elder Wang Xing?" The elder who came in the second batch was named Wang Xing. He had been with 3 people at the time, but those 3 were clearly dead. When Wang Xing saw Lin Moyu, a look of joy flashed in his eyes, the joy of seeing a fellow human. "Indeed, I am. Young friend, you are." Lin Moyu said, "Junior Lin Moyu." As he spoke, Lin Moyu took out the token of glory. Seeing the token of glory, Wang Xing raised his eyebrows several times, and his gaze towards Lin Moyu changed instantly. There were only 2 types of people who could obtain the token of glory. One was a top genius, and the other was someone who had made outstanding contributions to the human race. Needless to say, Lin Moyu belonged to the former. Wang Xing didn't dare to underestimate a top genius, especially since the other party was able to come here. Wang Xing straightforwardly asked Lin Moyu about the situation outside. Lin Moyu said, "Before Junior came in, the Human Emperor Network released a mission, with a crimson difficulty level. The reason was because Elder Wang was trapped inside, and there had been no news for a long time. Everyone thought Elder Wang had likely met with misfortune. Actually, with Elder Wang's strength, we were a bit too worried." Wang Xing gave a wry smile. "In fact, I almost lost my life here several times." Wang Xing recounted his experience. After entering the manor, he, like everyone else, experienced the reaction test of the first 3 levels. Fortunately, Wang Xing was experienced and passed through without any danger. After that, there were no problems with the combat experiments, 1-on-1, 1-on-3. Then, when it came to 1-on-10, Wang Xing was almost beaten to death. He didn't have the chance to escape into the safe passage. Fortunately, as an elder, he carried enough pills with him, and he fought and fled, finally making it through. Then, the assassination in the flower bushes was another close call. Wang Xing was lucky, and after suffering some injuries, he managed to survive. Only in the final safe passage did Wang Xing choose to enter. At that time, he knew that if he continued forward like this, he would most likely die. After entering the safe passage, he entered a secret chamber. It was different from Tang Zhen's secret chamber, and it was also different from what Lin Moyu had imagined. There were 2 doors in the secret chamber, leading to different places. One was the exit, which led out of the manor, and also provided a reward. The other was to continue forward. Wang Xing didn't rush. After he healed his injuries in the secret chamber, he chose to continue forward. So, in the following time, he wandered around in one secret chamber after another. In addition to being dangerous, the secret chamber also had the properties of a maze. Every time he passed through 3 secret chambers, 5 exits would appear in the secret chamber. One of them was to leave the manor, and among the other 4, one was the correct exit, and the other 3 would continue in the secret chamber maze. Elder Wang Xing had several opportunities to leave the secret chamber, but he was stubborn and argued with the secret chamber when his temper flared up. Unfortunately, he never chose the right one. Lin Moyu found it a bit funny as he thought to himself, so that's what the game field is all about. It seems the manor owner is particularly fond of mazes. 0A seeking fresh flowers AA. In his opinion, the entire manor was like a puzzle-solving arena. Each level was a puzzle, with no hints throughout, requiring one to think about how to solve it. It must have been more difficult before. After that great war, the manor fell into a semi-abandoned state, so it became simpler. Elder Wang Xing was trapped in the maze composed of secret chambers for several days. Just now, the maze suddenly disappeared, and he found himself in the ancient castle, and then he walked over. At this time, more people walked into the hall, belonging to different races, and all of them possessed powerful physical strength. Lin Moyu knew that these guys should be like Elder Wang Xing, having come from the maze. Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence? It seemed that he was the only one who had walked into the fortress through the main entrance. As for why the maze disappeared, Lin Moyu didn't know. He was too lazy to guess. The result was already in front of him, and there was no point in asking why. After Wang Xing finished speaking, he asked with curiosity, "How did friend Lin solve the maze?" Lin Mo shook his head, "I didn't enter the maze." Wang Xing was stunned, and immediately realized that Lin Mo had forced his way through. "Friend Lin, what is the next level after the flower bushes? Can you tell me?" At that time, he felt that he had to enter the safety passage, otherwise he would die. But at the same time, he was very curious about what the subsequent test was. Lin Mo told him about the test of the 1,000-member skeleton legion, and Wang Xing's face changed. With his strength, if it were 10 or 100 skeletons, he could still deal with them and perhaps have a chance to pass. But if it were 1,000, he would definitely die. He is a god venerable, and although his physical body has also reached the true god realm, roughly at the 5th level of the true god realm, he is not good at close combat. 10 flower monsters had already beaten him half to death, 1,000 skeletons, it's terrifying to even think about it. He was glad for his choice at the time, and at the same time, he was amazed at Lin Mo's strength. Although he can't see Lin Mo's realm cultivation now, Lin Mo's physical body is very strong, stronger than his own. Lin Mo saw his doubts and said with a smile, "This junior's cultivation is not high, I have only cultivated my physical body, so it is relatively strong." Wang Xing knew that Lin Mo was being modest, so he went along with him. It seems that cultivating the physical body is not entirely useless. Lin Mo smiled and did not respond. After waiting for a while, many more people came over. In total, more than 20 people have entered the hall, among them the demons have the largest number, as many as 8. There are only Lin Mo and Wang Xing from the human race, and no one else. Chapter 1171. The game has just begun. Lin Mo's gaze swept over the various races in the hall. Demons, Golden Eagle Clan, Fire Lion Clan. Each one is a race known for its powerful physical body. They also felt Lin Mo's gaze, and glared back one by one, their eyes filled with ferocity. Wang Xing frowned, his face becoming gloomy. This is a bit troublesome. There are a total of 9 races present, 6 of which have feuds with the human race, and 3 have no feuds but are not considered friends. Each one looks strange, and from the human race's aesthetic perspective, they are all ugly. The human race does not have many allies, and they are all races like the Butterfly Clan. Their cultivation may not be weak, but their physical bodies are generally not strong. Only the dragon race is an exception. They have a good relationship with the human race, and their physical body is one of the best among all races. But this time, the dragon race did not come. Wang Xing, as a god venerable, has a high realm and strong cultivation, but it is useless here. Everyone's realm cultivation is suppressed to the 5th level of the true god, without exception. What can be relied upon here is the physical body, and he relies on his god venerable cultivation to naturally grow his physical body to roughly the extent of the 5th level of the true god. Compared to these races who are good at physical bodies, he does not have an advantage. If it's a one-on-one fight, he's naturally not afraid. But if he is besieged by many people, it will be difficult to resist. He has already noticed that some guys in the room are giving him unfriendly looks, as if they are about to attack at any moment. Here, it is more dangerous than in the secret room maze. He lowered his voice. "What should we do?" Lin Mo didn't care. "Don't worry, we'll kill them later." Huh. Wang Xing's gaze revealed a look of surprise. "What do you mean by killing them later?" He didn't mean that at all, he meant how to save his life. Obviously, he felt that Lin Mo had misunderstood him. Lin Mo's attention was not on those alien races at this time. The throne in the center of the hall was emitting a faint glow. The light was very weak. If you don't look carefully, you can't see it clearly at all. Even if you see it, you will only think it is a faint reflection. Several demons looked at each other, seeing that they were about to attack. Wang Xing kept staring at them, his whole body tensing up. Suddenly, the door creaked and slammed shut. The light from the outside was blocked, and the hall instantly darkened. Darkness is not a problem for everyone present, but the throne emitting a faint light is extremely eye-catching when the hall is dark. Everyone's attention was attracted by the throne. The demons also temporarily gave up attacking. "Treasure!" a demon exclaimed, and immediately rushed over. Several other demons acted at the same time, blocking in front of everyone, staring at everyone with unfriendly eyes. If anyone dares to move to snatch the treasure at this time, they will attack. At this time, the demons' advantage in numbers is highlighted. Wang Xing asked Lin Mo with his eyes. He seemed to have the intention to attack. Lin Mo shook his head. "Don't worry, the game has just begun." The game has just begun. This sentence made Wang Xing feel strange. He felt that Lin Mo knew something. After all, Lin Mo entered the manor from the main entrance, which is different from them, and can get more information. In doubt, the demon who rushed over suddenly showed a look of horror. He seemed to see a terrifying scene. The light on the throne suddenly brightened, and at the same time a huge skull appeared. The skull opened its big mouth and swallowed the demon in one bite. When everyone came back to their senses, the demon had disappeared. Everyone was frightened, and several demons were also trembling, their eyes filled with horror. Where is this some treasure? This is simply a trap to eat people. No, it is a trap to eat demons. Wang Xing whispered, how did you know? Lin Mo laughed, guessed. Wang Xing did not pursue the matter when he saw that Lin Mo did not answer. Lin Mo really guessed, the garden outside is a chasing game, and the subsequent secret room maze is also a puzzle game. And the hall here should also be a game, but he doesn't know what the game content is yet. But Lin Mo can be sure that the protagonist prop of this game must be the throne in front of him. Before the game starts, whoever dares to grab the throne will surely die. The faces of several demons are very ugly, they did not expect that the throne would suddenly kill people. And the strong men of the other races were gloating at the demons. They all saw what the demons had done before. It's just that because of the difference in numbers and strength, they dared to be angry but did not dare to speak. Now that the demons have lost one person, it is a good thing for them. The faint light on the throne gradually converged, revealing a figure. The figure is hazy and blurry, and cannot be seen clearly. But when Lin Mo saw the figure, his eyes narrowed slightly. It's wearing a cloak almost identical to the Skeleton King's. Combined with the throne that is at least 80 to 90% similar, Lin Mo almost instinctively believes that the person on the throne is the Skeleton King. Could it be that the owner of the manor is the Skeleton King? This is not possible. The Skeleton King was just a summon, conjured through spells. How could it appear here? But the resemblance was uncanny. At that moment, the hazy figure on the throne raised its head, seemingly looking at everyone in the hall. Swept by that invisible gaze, everyone except Lin Mo Yu felt a sense of terror. The hazy figure slowly stood up, the illusory cloak behind him moving without wind, rustling loudly. Everyone became vigilant, unsure of what would happen next. In their eyes, the entire manor was filled with strangeness, and this hazy being before them was equally incomprehensible. Then, the hazy figure tapped the throne behind him, and a skull on the throne lit up. Immediately afterward, a skeleton appeared in the hall. The hazy figure's hoarse voice slowly echoed, skeletons as soldiers, you as thieves, a time limit of 1 incense stick. A newly lit incense stick appeared in the figure's hand. As the incense burned, the skeleton pounced. Everyone scattered in fright, fleeing in all directions. Although the hall was spacious, it seemed extremely small when they were being chased. The skeleton first targeted a demon. The demon, not wanting to be caught and face the consequences, fled desperately. Lin Mo Yu's lips twitched slightly. Cops and robbers, it really is a game. It was indeed a game, and the consequences of being caught were clearly not good. Wang Xing had originally wanted to escape as well, but seeing that Lin Mo Yu hadn't moved, he decided to stay put. He said in a low voice, he's a demon, a Xuanwu demon of the Hell lineage. His physical body is very powerful, known for its strength. He belongs to the powerful among the demons. Lin Mo Yu knew Wang Xing was telling him this. There were countless types of demons, far more than 10,000. Lin Mo Yu had only memorized a few of the more powerful ones and their characteristics. He had heard of the Xuanwu demon, and it was indeed strong, having caused considerable trouble for the human race in the past. But now, the Xuanwu demon was in a sorry state. Chapter 1172, The Cruel Game Begins. The skeleton chased the Xuanwu demon around the hall, making crisp clacking sounds. The clacking echoed in the dim hall, giving everyone a creepy feeling. The skeleton was very fast, much faster than the Xuanwu demon, and it was incredibly agile. In less than 30 seconds, the Xuanwu demon had been forced into a dead end. The Xuanwu demon roared and a giant club appeared in his hand, swinging it violently at the skeleton. The skeleton casually threw a punch, and the giant club shattered in response. Then, it rushed in front of him and threw several punches in a row. The Xuanwu demon exploded on the spot like a balloon, scattering flesh and blood all over the ground. Everyone's hearts trembled. This skeleton's combat power was beyond imagination. Lin Mo Yu muttered to himself, so that's what happens when you get caught. The rules of the game didn't say what the consequences of being caught were. It turned out to be death. The skeleton turned around, red light flashing in its eyes, and locked onto the second. The target was a golden eagle, his entire body golden, his feathers like sharp swords. He not only possessed powerful defense but could also launch attacks. However, shooting feathers was only used as a last resort, and he wouldn't use it lightly. The instant he was targeted by the skeleton, his wings vibrated, and he shot off in the opposite direction, quickly creating distance between himself and the skeleton. He was very fast, much faster than the Xuanwu demon. Unfortunately, flying was not allowed here, and the hall's limited space prevented him from taking advantage of his speed. The skeleton still ran over with clacking sounds, and in the blink of an eye, it was right in front of him. The golden eagle screamed, quickly turned, and fled to the other side. The skeleton chased after him again, its speed no slower than his. For a time, golden light flashed in the hall as the golden eagle darted around. Everyone looked at the golden eagle with pity, knowing that if the skeleton caught up, it would most likely die. Lin Moyu looked at the incense in the phantom's hand. They had to last for the time it took for one incense stick to burn. He estimated that, based on the burning speed of the incense, it would take about 10 minutes, or 600 seconds. The first Xuanwu demon had only lasted less than 30 seconds. The golden eagle was faster, so he would obviously last longer. In that case, not everyone here would die after one incense stick, at least a few would survive. What a cruel game. Lin Moyu sighed softly. He stopped paying attention to the incense in the phantom's hand and turned to look at the skeleton. This skeleton was different from the skeletons he summoned. It looked much more powerful. The bones on its body could no longer be called bones, jade bones would be a more appropriate term. Looking closely, they even had a crystalline feel. Unusual bones represented the skeleton's powerful combat strength. After the golden eagle had persevered for a minute, the skeleton suddenly let out a shriek. The golden eagle, who was originally fleeing, paused as if he was restrained by something. Everyone was somewhat at a loss, not knowing what had happened. But Lin Moyu could see that it was the death aura emitted by the skeleton, which had transformed into a net, restraining the golden eagle. The golden eagle struggled desperately, his entire body flashing with golden light, quickly breaking free from the restraints. But half a second had passed, and half a second was enough for the skeleton to reach him. The golden eagle let out a terrified scream, and golden light exploded. Feathers all over his body shattered like sharp arrows. Countless golden rays swept through the entire hall, and everyone's faces changed drastically as they hastily deployed their defenses. Wang Xing took out a small pagoda, and a light curtain fell from the pagoda, blocking the golden light. The skeleton bore the brunt of the golden light, and the golden light made crisp clanging sounds as it landed on it. A fist burst out from the golden light, hitting the golden eagle's head like lightning. Boom! The golden eagle's head exploded, and his soul was extinguished along with it. The featherless corpse fell limply to the ground, and the golden light disappeared at that moment. Everyone gasped, it was useless. At this time, the skeleton turned its head again, locking onto the third person. A demon with a reddish body and a lion-like shape roared fiercely and fled to another corner without looking back, putting distance between himself and the skeleton. The advantage of having a large number of demons was evident at this moment, as they had the highest chance of being chosen by the skeleton. The fire lion demon was a demon of the abyss lineage. His entire body was shrouded in flames, with the flames being red and green, possessing both the characteristics of flames and the characteristics of abyss fire. He transformed into a firelight and began to flee in the hall. The clacking sound made by the skeleton as it ran was like the sound of Yama claiming lives, making people fearful. At this time, everyone's faces became extremely ugly. They could see that the fire lion demon would not last long. The fire lion demon was not good at speed and would probably be killed soon. Lin Moyu calculated the time, there are 495 seconds left. The Xuanwu demon had lasted 30 seconds, and the golden eagle had lasted a full 75 seconds. It was unknown how long the fire lion demon could last this time. The longer he lasted, the higher the chance of survival for others. Now, no one was gloating. Everyone hoped that the fire lion demon could last longer. Because no one knew if they would be next. The skeleton's choice of people obviously had no rules to follow and was entirely based on luck. The fire lion demon continued to flee. Although he had tried his best, the distance between him and the skeleton was still constantly closing. He was stepping on fire, already pushing his speed to the limit. Unfortunately, speed was not his strength. Finally, the skeleton arrived before him, throwing a punch. The fire lion's form exploded, scattering flames everywhere, filling the entire hall. He's dead. Everyone couldn't help but sigh inwardly. However, the skeleton didn't look at anyone else, heading straight for a ball of flame and throwing another punch. A strange cry came from the flames, it was the voice of the fire lion demon. He's not dead. Everyone was shocked, the fire lion had actually dodged it. Amidst the strange cries, the skeleton once again scattered the flames with a punch. Then, it turned and rushed towards the other side without stopping. A bronze race member's face changed drastically as the skeleton, 063, rushed towards him. Just as he was about to escape, he was suddenly bumped hard, sending him flying towards the skeleton. The fire lion demon suddenly appeared behind him, knocking him towards the skeleton. Under the bronze race member's terrified expression, the skeleton collided with him. The bronze race member's body exploded like mud, but the skeleton's momentum didn't change at all, continuing to rush towards the fire lion demon. The fire lion demon cried out again, fleeing quickly. At this moment, everyone became vigilant, fearing that the fire lion demon would repeat his trick and get them killed. Wang Xing softly explained, the fire lion demon has a spell that allows him to use flames to perform 2 short-distance teleports, but each time he can only teleport to a place where there are flames. So that's how it was. No wonder the fire lion demon wasn't killed by a single punch earlier. And behind the bronze demon, there happened to be a flame burning fiercely. The bronze race member didn't die unjustly, being so careless, he would have died sooner or later in the great world. In the end, the fire lion demon couldn't escape the skeleton's pursuit, and was caught up and had his head blown off with a punch at the 75th second. The time he lasted was even less than the golden eagle race. There were still 420 seconds left, and 4 had already died. One of them, in fact, didn't need to die. Counting Lin Mo and Wang Xing, there were still 17 people present, and it was unknown how many would survive in the end. Everyone felt like they had a stone weighing on their hearts. At this moment, the skeleton's gaze turned towards Lin Mo's direction, eventually settling on Wang Xing. Chapter 1173. Keep up the good work, strive for progress every day. Wang Xing's face suddenly turned pale. I'm going to die. Being stared at by the skeleton, its red glowing eyes were as ruthless as 2 knives, one shattering his head and the other shattering his soul. He wasn't afraid of death. In his cultivation career, there had been many times when he had narrowly escaped death. But he didn't want to die so miserably. But now he had no choice. Here, once he was targeted by the skeleton, he couldn't escape. All of his defensive magic treasures wouldn't be able to withstand a few punches from the skeleton. This skeleton in front of him was like a being that violated the rules, too terrifying. Lin Mo's heart stirred, and a wave of death aura quickly spread out, silently enveloping Wang Xing. The hall was already filled with death aura, and Lin Mo's behavior didn't attract anyone's attention. Even Wang Xing himself only felt a chill all over his body, and didn't know what Lin Mo had done. The moment the death aura enveloped Wang Xing, the skeleton suddenly skipped over Wang Xing and looked to the other side, eventually landing on an Iron Bear race member. The Iron Bear race member had just been rejoicing that the skeleton hadn't chosen him, but suddenly disaster struck. The skeleton moved, and the Iron Bear race member, with a scream, threw out a large knife, slashing towards the skeleton in midair, while quickly retreating. He knew that his speed wasn't fast, and he couldn't escape, so he chose to fight back. The large knife was of a high level, a magic treasure of the God King realm, but it was easily shattered by the skeleton. At this time, everyone realized that this chosen Iron Bear race member was actually a God King, and not of a low level. Unfortunately, even a God King would still have to die here. The skeleton was too strong, so strong that they couldn't see its limits. Wang Xing's chest heaved violently, his whole body soaked in sweat. Only the person involved knew this feeling of escaping death. Lin Mo chuckled, Elder Wang has a long life, he will be fine. Wang Xing smiled awkwardly, this old man had a stroke of luck this time. Lin Mo chuckled, Elder Wang has always had good luck. Lin Mo was just trying to see if the death aura would work. Under the shroud of death aura, Wang Xing might be regarded as a dead person. But even if it didn't work, Lin Mo wouldn't just watch Wang Xing die. At that time, his undead army would have to be dispatched. Even if he couldn't beat this skeleton, he could at least delay time, delay until this incense stick burned out, there wouldn't be any problem. But now that the death aura was useful, Lin Mo was too lazy to move. He shrouded himself and Wang Xing with death aura, ensuring that the skeleton wouldn't choose them. As for the life and death of others, it was none of his business. The Iron Bear race member was indeed not good at speed, and after a series of resistance, he was finally killed by the skeleton after 35 seconds. At this time, there were still more than 300 seconds left, and only a little more than 1/3 of the incense stick had burned. The skeleton chose a target again, and everyone was nervous, fearing that they would be chosen. Only Lin Mo was not nervous at all. Wang Xing asked, "Aren't you afraid?" Lin Mo chuckled, "What's the use of being afraid, what's coming will always come." Wang Xing chewed on Lin Mo's words. Indeed, this old man admires the young friend's courage. One after another was chosen by the skeleton, and chased to death in unwillingness. The incense was getting shorter and shorter, and the survivors were praying. When there was less than the last quarter of the incense left, Lin Mo estimated that there were about 100 seconds left. At this time, more than half of the people had died. In the hall, counting him and Wang Xing, there were only 10 people left. Among them, there were still 3 members of the demon race, and 5 members of other races. At this time, the phantom on the throne moved slightly, and the voice sounded again, "The last 100 seconds, the reinforcements arrive." As soon as the voice fell, the throne behind him lit up again, and another skeleton appeared in the hall. Suddenly, the chasing skeletons changed from 1 to 2. This skeleton didn't lock onto a new person, but targeted the same person as the first skeleton. The 2 skeletons cooperated with each other, and the person being chased only lasted for less than 20 seconds, and soon died in unwillingness. The addition of the new skeleton greatly increased the difficulty of the game. Everyone had no way to resist, and could only accept it in frustration. In the last 100 seconds, 3 more were killed. When the incense burned out, the 2 skeletons disappeared at the same time, and only 6 people survived in the end. Lin Mo and Wang Xing were safe and sound, and there were still 2 demons left, namely the Diamond Demon of the Hell system and the Netherfire Demon of the Abyss system. In addition, there was 1 member each from the Tenglong race and the Giant Ant race. The 4 were extremely grateful, their eyes filled with the joy of surviving a disaster. Lin Mo saw it in his eyes and shook his head gently. In his eyes, these 4 had long been dead. If there were no more games to follow, then they would also die in his hands. If there were more games, then they would become cannon fodder and die in the game. It was precisely because he was thinking of using them as cannon fodder that Lin Mo didn't act when he first entered the hall. Rules. What rules? In the great world, the biggest fist is the rule. If it weren't for that game just now, the 8 demons would probably have attacked them already. Congratulations, you have escaped the pursuit of the officers and soldiers. Now, we present you with rewards and certificates. ... Lin Mo Yu was bewildered. The reward was fine, but a certificate? It felt like he was being coaxed like a child. Several beams of light shot out from the throne, turning into fist-sized rhomboid crystals in the air. Next to the crystals was indeed a certificate. The certificate was made of special bright red paper, with the words, "Congratulations on winning the game of cops and robbers. A special reward is given as encouragement. May you continue to work hard and improve every day." Lin Mo Yu's forehead was covered in black lines. This reward and certificate looked like they were meant to coax children. He was suddenly shocked, realizing that this manor was actually a game field. Could it be that the manor itself is a place where its owner played games with his descendants? Later, affected by the Great War, the rules in the manor changed, becoming dangerous. Lin Mo Yu felt that his guess was very close to the truth, otherwise he couldn't explain the current situation. If that's the case, those people died really unjustly. Lin Mo Yu helplessly accepted the crystal and certificate. This crystal was no different from the one he had obtained. He now had 2, and he didn't know what they were for. What is this? Wang Xing took the reward and certificate in a daze, still not quite recovered. Everything that happened in front of him was too strange. What the hell? We finally survived, and this is the reward. And continue to work hard and improve every day, bah! The survivors complained one after another. Lin Mo Yu suddenly realized what the problem was. No, there's a problem. The words on the certificate are clearly written in ancient Chinese, which is completely different from the language of the great world. How do they recognize it? Lin Mo Yu's eyes turned, and he said to Wang Xing, "Elder Wang, why do I think the words on the reward are a bit strange?" Wang Xing looked puzzled. Not strange, it's the common language of the great world. Lin Mo Yu had seen the common language of the great world, and it wasn't like this at all. He pondered for half a second, wondering if everyone saw different words. But he couldn't explain this matter. At this time, the phantom spoke again. "Little fellows who have won, you can now use the crystals to exchange for what you want. You know the rules, silently think about what you want in your heart, and maybe your wish will come true. As soon as the voice fell, the phantom disappeared. The throne projected a light curtain, and a hole appeared in the center of the light curtain, which was the shape of the crystal. Chapter 1174. Everyone thought of the same thing. The phantom's tone was like an elder teasing his descendants. Lin Moyu was even more convinced of his guess that this manor was actually a game field for its owner and his descendants. It could also be seen as a place for relaxation. Perhaps the rules here have changed strangely because of that great war. It is also possible that what we call danger is not dangerous at all to the people here, just a game. While guessing, his eyes fell on the light curtain projected by the throne. In the light curtain, countless treasures seemed to be flashing with light. There were weapons, armor, and some strange-looking things. Lin Moyu saw a small tower, beads, a whip, and shoes. These things were looming in the light. The hole in the center of the light curtain was exactly the same as the rhomboid crystal in his hand. The meaning was already clear: as long as you put the crystal in the hole, you could get a treasure. As for what treasure you get, it depends on what you want and what you are thinking in your mind. Lin Moyu's eyes turned, and he said to Wang Xing, "Let's go over." Wang Xing did not hesitate and immediately responded, "Okay." Elder Wang Xing had an inexplicable trust in Lin Moyu. He was panicked when he was locked by the skeleton, but Lin Moyu remained calm. Later, he didn't know why, but the skeleton suddenly changed its target and ignored him. He didn't react at the time, but later he recalled in detail that he felt a chill at the time, as if something was covering him. Then the skeleton no longer paid attention to him. Not only did he no longer pay attention to him at the time, but he also ignored himself and Lin Moyu in the subsequent choices. While others were uneasy and panicked, Lin Moyu was always calm and indifferent. The whole process was like watching a play. That look, as if he knew from the beginning that he would not be selected. He felt that Lin Moyu must know something. So he instinctively listened to what Lin Moyu said. The two walked towards the wall, and no one stopped them this time. Having learned from the past, the demon who first rushed to the throne was devoured on the spot. So when Lin Moyu and Wang Xing passed by, the other four watched quietly, waiting for the result. They had long lost the mood to kill. After experiencing the skeleton's pursuit just now, as survivors, they just wanted to get out alive and leave this ghostly place. Coming to the light curtain, Lin Moyu took the lead and said, "Elder Wang, please go first." Wang Xing was slightly stunned, a little puzzled, but he did not hesitate, and immediately put the crystal in his hand into the hole in the light curtain. Lin Moyu reminded, "Elder Wang, think about what you want first." Wang Xing nodded, "I've already thought about it." Saying that, he put the crystal on it, and the light curtain instantly became bright. The light curtain shot out thousands of rays of light, covering Wang Xing. Lin Moyu took a few steps back, leaving enough distance from the light curtain. The light was too bright, and no one could see what happened in it. A few seconds later, the light curtain receded, and Wang Xing had a small tower in his hand. The small tower was very delicate, 9 stories high, but it looked a bit small, not even half a palm. It didn't look like a treasure, but more like a child's toy. Elder Wang Xing's expression was complicated at this time, with a somewhat wry smile. Seeing that Elder Wang Xing was fine, Lin Moyu couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. His judgment was correct. The end of the game was the time to get rewards. The phantom just now did not lie. Before Wang Xing could say anything, his figure quickly became blurred. A space crack appeared beside him, and a powerful force dragged him in. At the other end of the space crack, Lin Moyu felt the breath from the Great World. Wang Xing was immediately sent back to the Great World after getting the treasure. Is this the end of the game? But what did Elder Wang's expression before mean? Wang Xing's expression before he left was very strange, and Lin Moyu couldn't understand it for a while. However, with Wang Xing gone, Lin Moyu felt relieved. For the human race, although there's no shortage of god emperors, it's naturally best to survive. Even 100 god kings can't compare to a single god emperor. Wang Xing being able to return safely is already the best outcome. His skin tightened slightly as 4 murderous gazes landed on him. With Wang Xing gone, he was the only one left from the human race. The remaining 4, 2 demons, 1 Tenglong clansman, and 1 giant ant clansman, were all enemies of the human race. At this moment, they were all looking at Lin Moyu with murderous intent. Lin Moyu didn't know their true cultivation level, but here, cultivation level didn't matter. Giant ant clansman, you have a lot of nerve, you actually didn't escape. But now, you have no chance anymore. The Tanglong clansman sneered, his figure darting towards Lin Moyu like lightning. He was very fast, and in the blink of an eye, he arrived behind Lin Moyu, cutting off Lin Moyu's retreat. The Tanglong clan, although it also has the word dragon, doesn't have much to do with the dragon race. A long time ago, the Tanglong clan was also called the Tengshi clan, but later, for some unknown reason, they changed their name to the Tanglong clan. Perhaps their appearance has 2 or 3 similarities with the dragon race, so they wanted to change their name to get some connection. With Wang Xing gone, the balance was broken, and the 4 obviously didn't want Lin Moyu to leave. Although the demon, Tanglong, and giant ant clans weren't allies, they had a common enemy, the human race. So this became the reason for their temporary cooperation. Lin Moyu's expression didn't change, without any panic, still looking calm and composed. Are you so sure you can take me down? The giant ant clansman laughed sharply. 1-on-1 is hard to say, but 4-on-1. Everyone knows how strong the human race's physical body is. The Tanglong clansman also chuckled. Even if you're a god emperor in the great world, your physical body can't be that strong. Yuhuo demon was covered in emerald green flames. You were very lucky just now, but your good luck has run out. The few seemed certain of taking down Lin Moyu, and the murderous intent in their eyes grew stronger and stronger. Lin Moyu chuckled. It seems everyone thought of the same thing. It's about time to get rid of you all. Lin Moyu didn't want them to leave after obtaining the treasures, and after Wang Xing left, Lin Moyu's killing intent began to boil. The few were amused by Lin Moyu's words. You want to kill us, are you crazy? This king is an 8th order god king in the great world, and here I have the physical body of a 7th order true god. You want to kill this king, based on what? The human race's physical body is fragile, you're now struggling to protect yourself, and you still dream of killing us. Lin Moyu chuckled. You'll know once you try. He suddenly turned around and punched the Tanglong clansman beside him. Courting death, the Tanglong clansman turned his body, his tail whipping towards Lin Moyu like a whip. His body was super long, exceeding 5 meters, and he coiled like a snake, which was also where they resembled the dragon race. Dragons and snakes do have 2 points of similarity in appearance. The tail was one of the Tanglong clan's most powerful weapons, and the sharp tail was like a sharp blade, slashing at Lin Moyu's fist. A scream rang out, and the Tanglong clansman trembled as if electrocuted. His tail exploded like a watermelon, and blood and flesh splattered all over the ground. How is this possible? How can the human race have such a strong physical body? The Tanglong clansman couldn't believe it, screaming madly. His strongest tail was actually destroyed by Lin Moyu's punch. The other 3's expressions changed drastically, and they shouted in unison, kill. Chapter 1175. One batch isn't enough, then another batch. The 3 pounced towards Lin Moyu, with Yuhuo demon being the fastest. Yuhuo demon's greatest strength wasn't his physical body, but his speed. His speed wasn't slower than that of the Golden Eagle clan of the same realm, and in the blink of an eye, he had arrived in front of Lin Moyu. But he rushed over quickly, and retreated even faster. Amidst horrified screams, Yuhuo demon retreated frantically, his body covered in scattered flames, representing his emotions as well such. Not only him, but the giant ant clansman and another demon also retreated frantically, screaming non-stop. Especially the giant ant clansman's screams, which were the most ear-piercing. So unpleasant. Lin Moyu frowned. Not only are you ugly, but your voice is also so unpleasant. Around Lin Moyu, 4 skeleton god warriors appeared. The skeleton god warriors held giant axes, and the soul fire in their heads flickered, emitting a red light. At first glance, they were 8 or 9 points similar to the skeleton from before. The 4 were scared out of their wits and fled quickly, shrinking into the corner of the hall, far away from Lin Moyu. Even the Tanglong clansman whose tail was broken was now enduring the great pain, hiding as far as he could. Unfortunately, the hall was too small, otherwise he would have wanted to stay thousands or tens of thousands of light years away from Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu chuckled. You're really timid. Yuhuo clan screamed in horror. Who exactly are you? Lin Moyu, isn't my name on your demons must-kill list? Lin Moyu said lightly. Yuhuo demon recalled that there was indeed a human named Lin Moyu on the must-kill list. As long as they could get on the must-kill list, they were people that the demon race had to kill. Among them were either those who had caused significant harm to the demon race, or some geniuses, who might be weak now, but were likely to pose a threat to the demon race in the future. At that time, he saw that Lin Moyu was only in the Transcendent God realm, and being able to get on the must-kill list in the Transcendent God realm meant that Lin Moyu's potential was very terrifying. He even thought that he would definitely kill Lin Moyu when he saw him. But now, he wished he hadn't met Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu said lightly, "Since you know my name, and also know who killed you, then you can die in peace." Lin Moyu didn't talk nonsense with them anymore, and the 4 skeleton god warriors had already rushed over with their axes. Out of the previous fear of the skeletons, facing the pursuit of the current 4 skeleton god warriors, the 4 didn't even think about fighting back. One by one, they screamed repeatedly, running around frantically in the hall. The skeleton god warriors possessed the combat power of a 7th to 8th order true god, and their attributes were balanced, and their pure physical strength reached the 6th order true god. In the great world, this kind of combat power might not be anything, and any god king could crush the skeleton god warriors. But in this special environment, the physical strength of a 6th order true god was already very powerful. Lin Moyu watched the show, watching the skeleton god warriors chase them. Watching the 4 being extremely embarrassed, fleeing frantically. The eyes of the 4 were filled with fear, and they didn't dare to confront the skeleton god warriors head-on. This is the real cops and robbers. But it seems that there aren't enough cops, so let's add a few more. Lin Moyu chuckled, deciding not to waste any more time, intending to make a quick decision. Instantly, 100 skeleton god warriors appeared around him, joining the pursuit team. Despair appeared on the faces of the 4. If they had known this would happen, they shouldn't have bothered with Lin Moyu, and should have just let him go. Now that things have turned out like this, their lives are going to be lost here. They didn't know that Lin Moyu originally didn't intend to leave. For Lin Moyu, there were 2 options. One was to kill all these guys, which wasn't difficult. The second was to keep them as cannon fodder, in case there were any new games later, these guys could explore the way for him. If it wasn't for the second reason, Lin Moyu would have already killed them. The reason for letting Wang Xing take the treasure first was also for this reason: he wanted to see what would happen after getting the treasure. What if taking the treasure automatically enters the next game? If I take it first, Wang Xing will inevitably be in danger. As a result, Wang Xing took the treasure and left the manor. It was at that moment that Lin Moyu decided to kill them. He didn't want these people to leave the manor after taking the treasure, it was too wasteful, it's better to turn them into his military exploits. In despair, they were quickly surrounded by skeleton god warriors. The huge axe shadow fell, quickly chopping them into minced meat. The whole process was without any twists and turns, nor could there be any. If there were any twists and turns, then another batch of skeleton god warriors would come. If one batch is not enough, then 2 batches. If that doesn't work, there are also death knights, bone dragons, and skeleton god generals. The battle ended quickly, and the skeleton god warriors, carrying axes, began to clean up the battlefield. The bodies of those who had been killed in the game before were still in the hall. The skeleton god warriors collected their bodies and brought them back to Lin Moyu. At the same time, there were also their storage items, not wasting a bit. In the blink of an eye, the battlefield was cleaned up. Lin Moyu had 4 fist-sized rhombus crystals in his hand. 0A seeking fresh flowers AAA. Including the 2 in his hand, there were a total of 6. In other words, he could choose treasures from the light screen 6 times. I wonder what the treasures inside are, why Elder Wang's expression is so strange. After cleaning up the battlefield, making sure nothing was missed, Lin Moyu was planning to go to the light screen to exchange for treasures. After exchanging for treasures, this trip would be considered over. At this moment, he suddenly discovered that the rhombus crystals had actually merged together. After the 4 fist-sized crystals merged together, they became much larger. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and he took out his 2 crystals. Sure enough, his 2 crystals also merged with it. After the 6 crystals merged together, they had become as large as an adult's head. The crystal became larger, but it couldn't be put into the skeleton of the light screen. Then how should he exchange for treasures, and how should he leave? 0. Lin Moyu's gaze swept across the hall, not missing a single detail. The result was disappointing: there was no suitable place to place the crystal. Suddenly his gaze stopped. Lin Moyu saw a gap in the center of the throne, which seemed to be about the same size as the crystal in his hand. With a try-it-out mentality, Lin Moyu bypassed the light screen and came to the back of the throne. Throughout the whole process, he was cautious. After all, the scene of the demon being swallowed was still vivid in his mind. Fortunately, nothing happened. He smoothly came behind the throne, looking at the gap. It was indeed about the same size as the crystal in his hand. Putting the crystal into the gap, in an instant, the entire throne lit up. The projected light screen disappeared instantly, the throne shone brightly, bursting out with dazzling light. Angry roars and screams before death entered his ears. The sound of clashing weapons echoed in the hall. The hall disappeared, replaced by a flower garden. This is a past image. Lin Moyu was shocked. This throne recorded the images of that great battle in the past. The sky above the manor's flower garden was gloomy and black, followed by lightning and thunder, and tyrannical laws shattered the sky and swept in. The tyrannical laws came from beyond the sky. Countless meteor fire rains fell on the flower garden, lightning struck down, and large areas of grassland flower bushes were burned down. Originally, there were some peculiar creatures living on the grassland. They had 2 legs and 4 limbs, managing the grassland. They were flower and grass craftsmen. But the sudden disaster completely destroyed the grassland. Then the human army descended upon the world, and at this moment, these flower and grass craftsmen angrily raised the tools they used to prune flowers and plants, and launched a bloody battle with the human army. Chapter 1176. The Past Scene, the History of the Ancient Castle. Flower monsters. Lin Moyu saw in his eyes that these creatures with 2 legs and 4 limbs were originally the flower and grass craftsmen in the manor. That is, the flower monsters he encountered when he came in. They were only responsible for pruning flowers and plants, and did not have much powerful combat power. Faced with the prepared human army, they were quickly slaughtered. After eliminating the flower and grass craftsmen, the army advanced towards the manor castle. On the way, they were hindered again by some skeletons blocking their way. The skeletons were the guards of the manor, not large in number, only a few thousand. The skeletons were obviously more powerful than the flower monsters, but they still failed to stop the enemy. The human army attacked the manor, and the manor's castle burst out with brilliant light, unfolding its defenses. The castle killed the skeleton army and fought a great battle with the human army. However, the human army had a clear advantage in number and quickly suppressed the opponent. At this time, a black shadow rushed out of the castle and killed its way over. For a time, screams were heard everywhere, and countless people fell from the sky. The black shadow wore black armor, with a scarlet cloak on its back, and a large sword, when swung, reaped lives like cutting grass. Lin Moyu looked at the black shadow and felt a little familiar, especially the large sword in his hand and the scarlet cloak on his back. Skeleton King. He wasn't sure. The armor covered his whole body, making it impossible to see clearly. A large number of human warriors were killed, and a 10,000-strong army was scattered by the black shadow alone. Finally, the general appeared, but he was still no match for the black shadow, and was beheaded in less than 10 swords. The black shadow fought even more frantically. Corpses fell from the sky like raindrops, and the flowers stained the manor red. Lin Moyu was like he was personally experiencing the battlefield, watching the events that had happened countless years ago. Pieces of corpses and flesh flew across his eyes. The scene was extremely horrifying. Finally, an even more powerful existence descended. A powerful existence, also wearing armor, fought with the black shadow. Lin Moyu had seen the records on the animal skin and knew that this was the Overlord. The Overlord fought a great battle with the black shadow, while the army took the opportunity to kill their way into the castle. Soon, screams and fights came from the castle, and Lin Moyu knew that the people who went in were basically dead. The Overlord was not the Black Shadow's opponent, and after holding on for a while, he gradually fell into a disadvantage. At this time, Lin Moyu saw the Overlord cut off his own arm and sacrifice blood to the sky, performing a powerful spell. Even without being truly on the battlefield at the time, Lin Moyu could still feel the terrifying power of this spell. The Black Shadow was suppressed in an instant and fell from the sky. This spell didn't seem to distinguish between friend and foe, and the human army was also suppressed. The extremely strong castle, which had stood firm in the great battle, seemed unable to withstand the enormous pressure at this moment and began to tremble. A huge rune appeared in the air. The rune flickered with a bright light, and the moment he saw it, Lin Moyu recognized it at a glance. This was the Great World Rune. It was exactly the same as the Great World Rune he had seen before, only the Great World Rune in front of him was not damaged in any way. It looked so perfect, as if it represented all the truths in the world. The image shattered with a boom, and in that instant, Lin Moyu seemed to hear a crisp cracking sound. The image ended there, and the throne ceased to glow. Cracks had already appeared in the crystal on it, and then, with a crisp sound, it completely shattered. Lin Moyu sighed, knowing the outcome of the great battle back then. It was a lose-lose situation. The human army gained no advantage, and the continued existence of the manor was the best evidence. The dark figure, the manor owner's servant, also entered the coffin of slumber after the great battle due to severe injuries. As for whether the Great World Rune was damaged due to this great battle, it remains to be investigated. Lin Moyu felt that the dark figure should not have the ability to crack the Great World Rune. But how he ultimately repelled the human army has become a mystery. Moreover, what was the cause of the great battle back then, and in what era did it occur? The human race has risen and fallen many times in the great world. Besides Xiao Zhantian's era of the last 100,000 years, the human race had also experienced glory in earlier times. But this great battle clearly predates Xiao Zhantian's era. History has been fragmented, making it difficult to trace. Lost in thought, Lin Moyu unconsciously placed his hand on the throne, gently tapping it. Suddenly, the throne once again emitted a gentle light, enveloping Lin Moyu. Then, in Lin Moyu's vision, the phantom who had hosted the game of cops and robbers reappeared. Lin Moyu felt that it was staring at him, sizing him up. It's conscious. Lin Moyu was shocked. Previously, he thought that this phantom was just a memory, acting according to the rules. But now it seems that this is not the case at all. Then, the phantom disappeared again, the light of the throne became even stronger, and the throne transformed into a ray of light, drilling into Lin Moyu's body. Lin Moyu's body stiffened, and in his soul world, a throne appeared. How did it enter my soul world? Lin Moyu became extremely vigilant, such a brazen invasion of his soul world. Yet his soul world did not produce the slightest resistance. This shows that the throne is too powerful, so powerful that the soul world cannot resist. After entering the soul world, the throne flew straight to the vicinity of the Skeleton King's spell star and began to rotate around the spell star. It's become a satellite. Lin Moyu was stunned. This mysterious and powerful throne had actually become a satellite of the Summoned Skeleton King spell star. With its addition, Summoned Skeleton King became stronger, and the star rapidly increased in power. The 9-star spells were connected in one breath, like a whole. The strengthening of the Summoned Skeleton King spell also strengthened some other spell stars. However, the strengthening of the 9-star spells, in turn, drove the strengthening of the soul world. The light of the 9 spell stars became more intense, the soul world rumbled, and rapidly expanded a bit. Lin Moyu felt his soul power increase a lot, and he received many insights about the laws of immortality from the throne. In just a few minutes, it surpassed his comprehension of more than 10 years, or even decades. With the improvement of his understanding of the laws, his soul strengthened, the talent tree transmitted pure soul power, and the 9-colored dragon soul crystal also spat out soul power without a trace of impurities. His soul rapidly strengthened, and just a few minutes later, Lin Moyu felt a bottleneck break. His cultivation smoothly entered the 5th rank of True God, and his control over the laws increased to 20%. He didn't need to refine it himself, the 9-star spells automatically completed the refinement work. He obtained all the information about the throne. This thing is really called the Skeleton King's throne. Lin Moyu was stunned for a moment. Originally, he just thought it looked very similar to the Skeleton King's throne that appeared when summoning the Skeleton King. He didn't expect it to really be called the Skeleton King's throne. He also understood the function of the Skeleton King's throne, which can enhance the power of the Skeleton King and can be regarded as the Skeleton King's exclusive magic weapon. Not only is it an exclusive magic weapon, but it is also a storage device. The things that Wang Xing obtained before were stored inside it. After refining it, the treasures inside naturally belonged to Lin Moyu as well. With a thought, a small sword appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. The small sword was made of polished white bone, less than 20 centimeters long, very small and delicate. After figuring out its function, Lin Moyu couldn't help but show a wry smile, comparable to Wang Xing's back then. Chapter 1177, It's actually a toy. White Bone Divine Sword Toy can unleash the aura of a god Venerable Peak, but has no actual attack power. After each use, a 10-minute interval is required before it can be used again. Lin Moyu was speechless, it really was just a toy. It can unleash the aura of a god Venerable Peak, but it doesn't have the slightest attack power. What's the use of this thing? Right, it can be used to scare people. Lin Moyu took out a shield. The shield was also very small, a bit larger than an adult's palm. Exquisite patterns were carved on it. Invincible shield toy can resist the aura attacks of a god Venerable, but has no actual defensive power and is ineffective against real attacks. A scene appeared in Lin Moyu's mind. A little kid waving the white bone divine sword, calling out in a childish voice, "Eat my sword." Another little kid raised the shield, "Look at my invincible shield." ... After looking at a few more items, they were all toys. Lin Moyu put away these toys with a wry smile. They don't seem to be of much use, but they seem to be good for coaxing children. At this time, Lin Moyu also knew the function of the crystal. The function of this crystal, besides recording images, can also be used for remote communication. Using a special method, a crystal can be divided into multiple pieces. They can communicate with each other. Basically, it can ignore distance, and even ignore special places such as secret realms. But it must be the same crystal that has been divided, different crystals cannot communicate with each other. The crystals in the manor were actually divided from a huge crystal, so when they meet, they will merge with each other. Moreover, during the great battle back then, the crystal in the castle recorded some of the scenes at that time, which were the scenes Lin Moyu saw. Now there is still a large crystal placed in the throne. If Lin Moyu needs it, he can split them out at any time. The Skeleton King's throne is also the controller of this manor. As long as you control the Skeleton King's throne, you are equivalent to controlling the entire castle and the entire manor. With a thought, the gate on the half of the hall quickly opened, and the light shone in again. Immediately afterwards, a portal appeared on the wall in front of Lin Moyu. This portal leads to the small forest behind the manor. Before entering the manor, one could see a small forest behind the manor from the outside. Lin Moyu stepped into the portal, the world changed, the scene in front of him first became illusory, the small forest appeared in front of him, and then shattered with a bang. When Lin Moyu saw clearly, he found that he had left the manor world and returned to the great world. The position where he appeared was the same as the position where he entered, without any change. "Junior brother Lin, you're finally out." Lin Qianhuang's surprised voice rang in his ear. Lin Moyu turned around and saw Qianhuang flying towards him, his face full of surprise. But someone was faster, and someone had already come to him in a flash. Elder Wang Xing also brought surprise. "Little friend Lin, you're finally out." His tone was concerned, and at the same time, he looked like a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. Being able to become a god, Wang Xing is naturally not stupid. Afterwards, he had already guessed why Lin Moyu had asked him to exchange treasures first. He guessed that Lin Moyu wanted to kill people. Sure enough, after him, none of the others were able to come out. The problem is that Lin Moyu didn't come out either, and he began to worry. He was afraid that Lin Moyu would have an accident inside. Young people like Lin Moyu are rare. If he really died, it would be a considerable loss to the human race. After waiting for another half a day, Lin Moyu finally came out, and he was relieved. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Elder Wang is worried, this junior is fine." Wang Xing laughed and said, "Little friend Lin is too polite. If it weren't for you this time, I'm afraid this old man would have died inside." When Qianhuang heard Wang Xing's words, his heart beat violently a few times. It was actually Lin Moyu who saved Wang Xing. Lin Moyu's ability once again broke his understanding and made him look at him with new eyes. At this time, Li Yuanbai also flashed to Lin Moyu's side. "Little friend Lin, you finally came out. Come with me quickly." Lin Moyu saw that his tone was urgent and knew that something was wrong. He gave Qianhuang a look, signaling to talk later. Li Yuanbai took them to a temporary camp. There was no temporary camp before Lin Moyu entered the manor. There were 2 tents in the temporary camp, and Lin Moyu felt the majestic aura of the law of life through the tents. "Is someone injured?" Lin Moyu asked. Li Yuanbai had been guarding here these days, and he knew exactly how many people went in, how many came out, and what the situation was. Li Yuanbai said in a deep voice, "A total of 4,218 people went in, and 2,542 people returned. Among them, 1,966 people were slightly injured and 18 people were seriously injured." Those who were slightly injured have been treated and are no longer a major problem. The 18 who were seriously injured are all in these 2 tents, and pills have little effect on them. Lin Moyu asked, is it the same injury as Captain Tang Zhen's back then? Li Yuanbai nodded, almost. If it was just the same injury as Tang Zhen, then Lin Moyu said there was no problem, he could cure it. His undying law can obliterate everything, including other laws. Lin Moyu entered the tent to start treatment. The injured lying inside were all in serious condition. 2 of them had most of their bodies melted, leaving only bones. Another one had the upper part of his chest burned black, and his hands and feet were broken. I don't know how he escaped. They are basically in the true god realm, unlike Tang Zhen, who is so powerful. The speed of the injury worsening is also far faster than Tang Zhen's. If it was delayed for a few more days, they would basically be dead. In fact, in the final analysis, it is also because of the strange power in the manner that their injuries cannot be recovered. Otherwise, with pills, their injuries could be completely cured. Lin Moyu used the undying law, first obliterating the power entangled in them, and then transforming it into the power of life for treatment. Lin Moyu used his mind for multiple purposes, treating multiple people at the same time, and the speed was very fast. At the same time, Lin Moyu was also thinking about the numbers Li Yuanbai had just reported. According to this calculation, 1676 people have died inside. When he came out, there were no more living human beings in the manor. 1676 people, in terms of the number of human beings, is naturally not many. Those who can come to the battlefield are basically cultivators with extremely high talents, which is different from ordinary people. It is still a pity that too many such people are lost. It seems that after getting some information, Li Yuanbai has been dissuading others from going in. Otherwise, there would definitely be more people going in, and more people would die. Lin Moyu thought in his heart, but his movements were not slow, and soon the alien power on these people was expelled. The undying law also instantly turned into the power of life, cooperating with the law of life and pills to treat the wounds together. The injury quickly stabilized, and Lin Moyu entered another tent. In the other tent were female cultivators, and besides the ones lying down, there were several people taking care of them. This kind of care is meaningless and does not have any effect. After Lin Moyu went in, he didn't say a word, and with a flick of his finger, the undying law flew out. 10 seconds later, Lin Moyu walked out of the tent. The newborn flesh and blood was a white expanse, not to be looked at indecently. After coming out, Lin Moyu directly said to Li Yuanbai, "Don't let anyone else in." Li Yuanbai was slightly stunned and instinctively asked, why? In Li Yuanbai's view, although many people died this time, some people also returned safely. Now that Wang Xing and Lin Moyu have also returned one after another, they should bring back a lot of useful information. Combining the information of the 2 people, useful strategies can be recreated. Now is the time for large-scale entry, and even the army can be allowed to enter. But Lin Moyu said, "Don't go in again." Lin Moyu looked at Wang Xing, "Didn't Elder Wang say it?" Elder Wang said, "I said it, but I have been trapped in the secret chamber maze, and the information I got is limited." Lin Moyu continued to ask, "I mean, the little tower that Elder Wang got, didn't Elder Wang say it?" Wang Xing's old face turned red. "I wanted to say it, but it was a bit embarrassing to say. I wanted to wait for you to come out and say it together." He meant to see what Lin Moyu had gotten. Perhaps he was just an accident. Lin Moyu sighed, "Say it, I am the same as you." Wang Xing smiled bitterly, "So, are there such things inside?" Lin Moyu nodded, "They are all such things." Wang Xing sighed, "I didn't expect that after so long of death, it would be such a result. There is really no need to let people in." Li Yuanbai frowned, "What riddles are you 2 playing?" Wang Xing took out the small tower he had obtained and stuffed it into Li Yuanbai's hands. The moment Li Yuanbai took the small tower, he saw the information in it. A tower of imprisonment toy. It can release the cage that traps the god, but it is just momentum and has no practical effect. Li Yuanbai was stunned on the spot. Toy. Just a toy. Wang Xing nodded helplessly, "Yes. So many people died, and what they got were either unknown crystals or toys. Is this a joke?" Lin Moyu quickly said his experience again, echoing what Wang Xing said. At the same time, he took out a toy and threw it to Li Yuanbai. Li Yuanbai immediately issued an order, not allowing anyone to enter. Before, it was just persuasion, but now it is prohibition. At the same time, he communicated with the upper echelons of the human race and reported the information he had obtained. There is no substantial benefit, and you have to face danger. If you are not careful, your life will be lost. What are you doing in this kind of place? The next thing was left to Li Yuanbai and Wang Xing to deal with, and Lin Moyu was considered a success. Qian Huang immediately asked after returning, "How is it?" Lin Moyu smiled. Senior brother Qian's choice was correct. There was no joy on Qian Huang's face. It seems that it is really dangerous inside. Many people have entered these days, but not many can come out. Lin Mo nodded. It's very dangerous inside, and there's nothing good. Qian Huang knew Lin Mo wouldn't lie. No reward. Lin Mo threw a toy to Qian Huang. This is the reward. He threw an invincible shield to Qian Huang. Seeing this thing, Qian Huang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Isn't this a deceptive thing? Lin Mo said, it's not a deceptive thing, it's good for coaxing children. Senior brother Qian, do you have a wife? I have more toys here that I can give you. Originally, Qian Huang was expected to refuse, but Qian Huang sincerely said, if junior brother Lin doesn't want them, giving me some is fine. Although I don't have a wife or children, there are indeed many little ones in the family. Lin Mo laughed and threw a few more toys to him. It could be seen that Qian Huang's family was very united. Since the manor was no longer meaningful, the two of them didn't stay any longer. Before leaving, Lin Mo looked at the manor again. The small forest behind the manor looked lush and green. He originally wanted to go to the small forest to take a look, but he stepped into the portal and left the manor. Obviously, although the small forest could be seen, it was not possible to go there. Perhaps it was because the small forest was destroyed in that great battle, or perhaps it was for some other reason. Since he couldn't go there, Lin Mo didn't feel regret. Senior brother Qian, do you plan to continue to train on the battlefield next? Lin Mo asked. Qian Huang had already been promoted to God King. If he wanted to train again, he would have to go to a deeper area. That was the area controlled by fortresses 7, 8, and 9. It was even more dangerous there. If he went there with only God King First Order strength, it would be very dangerous. Normally, he should go there after God King Third Order, starting from Fortress 7 to look for missions. Of course, he could also choose to be active in the area of AA Fortress 6, but within that range, there were not many missions suitable for the God King realm. Qian Huang was proud to the core, and he didn't like ordinary missions. Lin Mo guessed that he might go back and cultivate for a while before coming over. Sure enough, Qian Huang's answer confirmed Lin Mo's guess. I have to go back to my family. There are regulations in the family that as long as you reach God King, you must return to the family to receive the family inheritance. Lin Mo had heard of the family inheritance. Many large families had ancestors who were strong and left some unusual inheritances. Some inheritances can increase the power of spells, and some inheritances can improve cultivation. It was normal for a large family like the Qian family to leave an inheritance. This was not a secret. Many people in the Vermilion Bird Star region knew about it, and this inheritance could not be snatched away. Only bloodline descendants could use it, and they had to meet certain requirements. So Qian Huang said it generously and didn't need to hide it. After Qian Huang finished speaking, he asked, what about junior brother Lin? Lin Mo said, I am carrying out the second chain quest and need to stay on the battlefield for a while. Qian Huang looked curious, I am also carrying out the second chain quest. I wonder what junior brother Lin's chain quest is. Everyone gets a different second chain quest based on their rating from the first chain quest, so they won't be the same. Lin Mo told him about his chain quest, and Qian Huang fell into deep thought after listening. His understanding of the Human Emperor Network's missions was obviously much greater than Lin Mo's. The amount of information accumulated by the family over thousands of years was not something Lin Mo could compare to. Qian Huang thought for a long time before saying, junior brother Lin's first chain quests were all completed perfectly. Moreover, junior brother Lin's combat power is extraordinary. You have been on the battlefield and killed many hostile races. So this time, junior brother Lin's second chain quest mainly tests combat power. Whether it is killing the top 10 guys on the bounty list, battlefield missions, or accumulating military merits, they are all tests of combat power. Junior brother Lin is the real genius. Compared with junior brother Lin, I am far behind. After he finished speaking, he was met with Lin Mo's blank gaze. Obviously, Lin Mo didn't quite understand what he was saying. Qian Huang chuckled, actually, it's very simple. According to the accumulation of information from our family for many years, although there are many missions on the Human Emperor Network, they can be divided into several directions. The first major direction is combat power. Missions in this direction basically test combat power. The second major direction is composure. Missions in this direction test a person's ability to respond calmly, which is a rare ability. The third major direction is comprehensive. Missions in this direction test both combat power and adaptability. Perhaps combat power is not the strongest, nor is it the smartest, but overall strength is the best. Lin Mo listened and felt that it made some sense. The fourth direction is also the most interesting direction, luck. Before he could finish speaking, a figure suddenly appeared silently beside the two of them. Chapter 1179, The Mysterious Man in the Black Hole. Zhu Qiwu, dressed in a black robe, suddenly appeared next to Lin Mo, startling Qian Huang, who was talking eloquently. When Qian Huang saw Zhu Qiwu, he trembled instinctively, and an boundless fear rose in his heart. He could feel Zhu Qiwu's power, which was so powerful that it was unbelievable. Even the elders in the family could not compare with Zhu Qiwu. When Lin Mo saw Zhu Qiwu, he respectfully saluted, "Why are you here?" Zhu Qiwu's voice was low and extremely serious, "I have something to ask you." Then he glanced at Qian Huang, "You leave first." His voice was full of majesty, like an absolute monarch, not allowing Qian Huang to refuse. How dare Qian Huang refuse? He could see that if the person in front of him wanted to crush him to death, he didn't even need to do anything. Even a breath might be enough. But if he just left like this, wouldn't it be very disloyal? Lin Mo smiled slightly, "Senior brother Qian, please leave first. I'm going to do something with Senior Zhu. We'll meet again if we have the chance." Qian Huang said, "Then junior brother Lin, take care. We'll meet again if we have the chance." He turned and left, flying further and further away. Until Lin Mo's figure disappeared from his sight, Qian Huang suddenly thought of something, and his whole body trembled violently. Surname Zhu, and so terrifying, could it be the garrison commander? Goodness, junior brother Lin actually knows the garrison commander, it's too scary. I heard that the garrison commander never talks to people, but he actually came to find junior brother Lin. Junior brother Lin is really extraordinary. Qian Huang tried hard to suppress the shock in his heart and flew towards the forward base. Lin Mo looked at Zhu Qiwu, "Senior, what do you need from me?" Zhu Qiwu took out a formation plate, activated it in the starry sky, and turned it into a not-so-small teleportation array. Zhu Qiwu stepped into the teleportation array and said in a deep voice, "Come in." Zhu Qiwu's expression was serious, obviously something was really up. Lin Mo didn't say anything more and flashed into the teleportation array. The teleportation array was activated, taking the two of them towards an unknown starry sky. This teleportation distance was a bit far, and it took a lot of time. When his vision returned, Lin Mo's eyes were filled with darkness, and he couldn't see anything. With his eyesight, he shouldn't be able to see anything even in a dark environment. He could feel that Zhu Qiwu was beside him, but he couldn't see anything. It could no longer be described as pitch black. Here, it seemed that all the light had disappeared. Suppressing the slight discomfort in his heart, Lin Mo asked in the direction of his side, "Senior, where is this?" Zhu Qiwu said, "Feel it." Lin Mo did as he was told, but didn't find anything. However, he felt an invisible force enveloping him. Outside this force, he felt danger. Zhu Qiwu said, "Someone wants to see you and will ask you some questions. Just answer truthfully. Also, remember to forget everything that happened today and don't mention it to anyone." He believed that Lin Mo understood the meaning of his words and didn't need him to say anything more. Lin Mo nodded to show that he understood. "It seems that the person coming to see me later is a big shot, with a higher status than Zhu Qiwu." Without even guessing, Lin Mo knew that such a person must be from Divine City. Zhu Qiwu already stood at the pinnacle of the Vermilion Bird Star region, the only ones more powerful than him were people from Divine City. Moreover, their status in Divine City wouldn't be low. No, it should be very high. They are the true higher-ups of the human race. He had also seen people from Divine City, like Xu Jiangxing and Qingjian Daoran. They were clearly inferior to Zhu Qiwu. Lin Mo didn't overthink it, he was just curious about his current environment. He couldn't see, all light had disappeared, and it was incredibly dangerous. Considering the above 3 points, Lin Moyu suddenly thought of a possibility. He asked in a low voice, "Senior, are we in a black hole?" "Little fellow, you're quite clever." A crisp and cheerful voice sounded, and light suddenly appeared in the darkness. A figure appeared in front of Lin Moyu. It was a middle-aged man wearing a cyan robe, dressed in a very traditional human style. This person had ordinary features, with a gentle smile between his eyebrows, looking like a kind old man. However, Lin Moyu knew that this person was extremely terrifying. To be able to emit light throughout his body and illuminate the surroundings in a black hole. Just thinking about such a person was frightening. Lin Moyu respectfully bowed to the other party. "Lin Moyu greets Senior." He waved his hand, with a warm smile and a gentle tone, "No need to be nervous. Tell me, what did you see and obtain in the manor?" "Saw and obtained what? If it were ordinary things, Zhu Yuanbai would have reported them long ago." Since he still asked, the answer he needed was definitely not ordinary. Moreover, this person definitely knew something about the manor. He even knew the reason why the manor appeared. The higher-ups of the human race could grasp far more information than ordinary people. Lin Moyu's thoughts raced, and he understood the whole thing almost in the blink of an eye. Clearly, the answer he wanted was a deeper one. Lin Moyu took out the box he had obtained at the time. "I got this at the time." The middle-aged man took the box with a smile, a gleam flashed in his eyes, and he said with a chuckle, "As expected, it's a time stone." Time stone. Lin Moyu had never heard of such a thing. However, anything related to time was probably a very high-end material. The middle-aged man didn't hesitate to explain, "A time stone is a material containing the law of time, one of the top materials. Items made from it can exhibit some temporal characteristics. For example, making time stand still." The middle-aged man spoke gently and slowly, unhurriedly, like a mountain stream, giving listeners a sense of peace. Lin Moyu finally understood why the words on the beast skin manual were still as good as new, even after so many years. It was all thanks to the time stone, which stopped the flow of time. The middle-aged man opened the box and took out the beast skin. Lin Moyu put the beast skin he got from the human corpse, the one from the study, and the beast skin notes into it. He did not take out the coffin of slumber and the beast skin testament. The sleeper in the coffin of slumber was suspected to be the Skeleton King. Especially after obtaining the skeleton throne, Lin Moyu felt that it seemed to have something to do with him, so he didn't hand it over. The middle-aged man took out the beast skin and said lightly, "Not bad, it is indeed Yuan beast skin, and it also uses Yuan Shi ancient text." He glanced at Lin Moyu. "Have you read the contents?" Lin Moyu admitted generously, "I have." The middle-aged man nodded and didn't say much. He began to check the contents of the beast skin. After reading it, he muttered to himself, "There's a little more information." "Little fellow, what do you think it says?" Lin Moyu shook his head, "I don't quite understand. It's probably a record of that battle back then. I found one piece of beast skin on the way. It seems to have been written by the attackers. I found another piece in a study. It should have been written by the owner of the castle. The handwriting is a bit messy. It was probably already fighting at the time, and he wrote in a hurry. As for this handbook, I don't quite understand it. In my memory, I haven't seen that kind of era. And those should be place names, but I haven't heard of them either." Chapter 1180. The Origin of the Battlefield, Chaotic Rules. The middle-aged man, radiating a faint glow, revealed a gentle smile, "Don't tell anyone about this." His voice was still calm, as light as a stream, but it made Lin Moyu feel a sense of majesty. It was like an order, yet it made people have to obey. Perhaps for the middle-aged man, it was really just a casual sentence. But his position was too high, and his very ordinary words were no longer ordinary to others. Lin Moyu nodded slightly, indicating that he knew the rules. The middle-aged man's meaning was clear, it was best if he couldn't understand it. Moreover, throughout the entire process, Lin Moyu always felt that the middle-aged man was paying attention to him. If he lied, he would definitely not be able to hide it from his eyes. So Lin Moyu was telling the truth, just not the whole truth. He really couldn't understand the eras above, and he didn't know what those names were. He guessed that they should be some place names, possibly the place names used in that era, which were different from now. The middle-aged man smiled, seemingly quite satisfied with Lin Moyu's answer. He put away the box made of time stone, and also put away the beast skin inside. Lin Moyu saw that the middle-aged man didn't use any storage tools, unlike others. Lin Moyu couldn't help but wonder if he also had a personal storage space. This was the first time he had seen someone from the great world who could store items without using any Dao artifacts. The middle-aged man continued to ask, "What do you think of that castle? And what are your thoughts on the great battle back then?" "What do I think? Of course, I look at it with my eyes." Lin Moyu thought in his heart, but said calmly on the surface, "The castle is very sturdy. I tried, but I couldn't shake it. There are traces of battle on the castle. I feel that these traces are very old. It seems that the battle back then was very fierce, and the people who participated were also very powerful, at least stronger than me. The whole manor gives me the feeling of being like an amusement park. The tests we experienced are more like games." The middle-aged man's eyes revealed a look of interest. "Oh. Why do you say that?" Lin Moyu told his experience, because he was the only one who had crossed the grassland to enter the manor, and his experience was different from others. While speaking, Lin Moyu was also thinking about some things in his heart. He didn't believe that the middle-aged man hadn't received Li Yuanbai's report. He must know the experience in the hall, and he also knows the game of cops and robbers, and even the toys in Wang Xing's hands. With his intelligence, how could he not deduce that the manor was a game field? But since he wanted to listen to himself, then he would say it again. Lin Moyu attributed most of his ability to cross the grassland to his physical body, and a small part to his summoning spells. This was also the truth, and it was indeed the case. The middle-aged man didn't interrupt Lin Moyu's words from beginning to end. After listening to everything, the look of satisfaction in his eyes became more and more intense. "You got a lot of toys, right? Can you show them to me?" the middle-aged man said calmly. Lin Moyu dared not refuse and immediately took out more than a dozen toys and handed them to the middle-aged man. After a slight examination, the middle-aged man revealed a hint of surprise in his eyes. "Can I borrow these things for a while?" Lin Moyu hurriedly said, "Please, take them." The middle-aged man didn't stand on ceremony and put away the toys, a hint of appreciation showing in his eyes. "You are outstanding." Lin Moyu said very modestly, "You flatter me, I only did what I was supposed to do." As he spoke, Lin Moyu clearly felt a faint fluctuation in Zhu Qiwu's aura beside him. The middle-aged man's one sentence was enough to make Zhu Qiwu's aura fluctuate. This was different from the Zhu Qiwu in his impression. Just a very ordinary compliment, was it really necessary? Lin Moyu was slightly startled. He knew that for Zhu Qiwu to react like this, the middle-aged man's status must be extraordinary. Or perhaps, the middle-aged man never praised others, so the occasional compliment would cause Zhu Qiwu to have such a change in mood. Since the middle-aged man appeared, Zhu Qiwu had been silent, just standing there obediently, like a piece of wood. Lin Moyu felt that Zhu Qiwu was incredibly obedient in front of the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man looked at Lin Moyu again. "You guys can leave first." "Yes." Zhu Qiwu finally made a move, respectfully saluting the middle-aged man. His eyes were filled with respect. Lin Moyu even saw reverence. This was the first time he had seen such a Zhu Qiwu. Lin Moyu also saluted the middle-aged man. "Junior will take his leave." The middle-aged man casually waved his hand. Lin Moyu felt the world change, the scene becoming fragmented, then quickly reassembling. The familiar starry sky appeared again in his sight, the light of distant stars shining over, bringing a faint light. Lin Moyu's chest rose and fell, exhaling a long breath. The middle-aged man's majesty was too heavy. No matter how approachable his expression was, the majesty on his body could not be erased. 0A requesting flowers. Even a faint trace was enough to overwhelm ordinary true gods. Didn't you see Zhu Qiwu, a peak goat a degree, being as obedient as a quail? Zhu Qiwu's chest was also rising and falling, then he exhaled a long breath, a wisp of white smoke cutting through the starry sky, stretching for hundreds of kilometers. Clearly, even Zhu Qiwu was very nervous. Lin Moyu tentatively asked, "Senior Zhu, who was that senior just now?" Zhu Qiwu coughed lightly. "A big shot." Big shot? Who didn't know he was a big shot? Clearly, Zhu Qiwu didn't want to tell him. Lin Moyu stopped asking and instead asked, "Senior, is there something wrong with that manor?" Zhu Qiwu pondered for a moment and said, "It may involve some secrets from the ancient times. This old man isn't particularly clear either." 0. The ancient times, how far back was that? Lin Moyu pretended to be very curious. "With your status, you must know more than I do, right?" Don't look at Zhu Qiwu usually being like a silent gourd, but once his chatterbox was opened, he was quite talkative. He would even tease and joke with him. Speaking of which, Zhu Qiwu was a senior who looked serious, but was actually very easy to get along with. Zhu Qiwu said, I do know some, but they are all insignificant information. Seeing that Zhu Qiwu didn't refuse to talk about this topic, Lin Moyu knew there was a chance. Immediately, he pressed on while the iron was hot and immediately asked, tell me. Zhu Qiwu said, actually, it's very simple, the origin of the battlefield is actually related to the rules of chaos. It is said that a long, long time ago, the battlefield area was also a lush starry sky. Later, the rules of chaos appeared and devoured the entire starry sky. After that, some chaotic areas appeared here. The laws in these areas are chaotic, and even godly sovereigns would be in danger if they entered. Later, over time, those chaotic areas gradually stabilized and formed special areas. The Stellar Essence Fire area you went to is one of them. There are many similar areas in the battlefield. Even the same Stellar Essence Fire clusters are not just one place. But not all chaos can be stabilized, there are always some exceptions. Like the manor that appeared this time, and some special places that have appeared in the past, that's the case. Yi,